Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here, and it's Thursday, and the Raptors won in New Orleans. Finally won on the road. Thank goodness. That's something that's been annoying this year. Last year, it was not getting a win in the Atlantic Division. This year, it was not getting a road win until they'll be in the last team to do it. And finally, we did it. I was a little worried yesterday at times when it started to sound like some of the injuries for the Pelicans were healthy and they're going to start showing up and coming to the games. And, DeJounte Murray was like finally saying, I am ready to come back and come play earlier in the day. And then it was confirmed later on that he was going to play. And then the game time decision to play Jordan Hawkins, I was like, okay, they're going to have a little bit more firepower than usual than they've had recently. And well, a little concerned because of all that, but it wasn't to be. In some ways, the Pelicans are in a really, really bad place with their ability to score points throughout a whole entire game. And playing in the Western Conference, man, they're messed up. They're going to be in trouble because if they can't muster game points in a game, they're just going to get blown out by everybody. So it was very interesting last night. We needed to win. We did win. We took care of business. If there was some sort of bizarro world where we don't win that game last night, I would not want to see it. It was cool because in some ways, the last couple of times we come down to New Orleans, we got our butt kicked. In fact, Matt and Jack were talking about it during the game, the time when we played Zion for the one time. They blew us out by like almost 40 points. So it was kind of nice to go down there and get the opposite today instead of what we did before. It's weird because Pelicans fans got to be really feeling like they're on a roller coaster. They've had success in the last couple of years where it really teased them into thinking that they were going to be a top team in the West and in the NBA overall. But man, they go with Zion. Zion doesn't want to, can't play. Zion's not there. Their team's in trouble. And now they've got a bunch of different guys that are hurt. And that team is just, man, they are exactly where their record is. And thank goodness we caught them now. In some ways, the Raptors are lucky to play the Pelicans at this point in the season at their home arena. That, in some ways, this is what we when we started the season, we looked at the schedule. That Pelicans game could have looked like not very friendly, like a one that may be tough, just like the rest of the schedule. That's why you have to play the games. That's why you have to go through the season. And that's why you have to see where teams are when you meet up with them, because they're in different places throughout the year. You play Philly and Milwaukee now, may be a lot better than like later on this season when possibly people are healthy and around more. So it really is kind of a luck thing or just a happenstance. When you play a team and where they are in the season can be very different at different times. It could be that New Orleans is very healthy later this season, and they're a much more difficult team to beat. But yeah, kudos to the Raptors finally getting their first road win. I got the stars of the game. I got a reaction to the 905 loss to Maine Celtics, also all kinds of stuff on the Raptor Freak channel. Let's react to the game and let's see what's going on. We got birthdays and Instagram stories and classic cards, all the stuff we do. All the stuff we do. Cue the music that doesn't exist. Yeah, music. All right, Monique is first in the chat, y'all. Let's see what the superfan Monique Lawrence is saying this morning. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Much needed W. Jacoby Beasting. Oshai called out by Darko plays well. Yeah, this is an interesting phenomena. We talked about this in the last couple of days, and we kind of went over it with Wayne a bit because he saw something, and we were talking about how Darko did mention Oshai in the post-game press conference against Detroit, and how he had an offer and that he has to do better. And well, we see immediate results. Some people saying, wow, this coach is really good at motivating and being harsh on his players. If he's able to get this kind of a turnaround from a player like Oshai Abaji. Yeah, Abaji's my number one star of the game last night. He was fantastic. Him and Battle were so good from three last night. In fact, it was weird. The Raptors went into three-point shooting mode last night and took a lot of three-point attempts. And that's not been normal for them this season. In some ways, it kind of shows what could be possible more if we went in that direction. but also in some ways it's a risky game. And so, if you don't have really, really high level shooters overall on your team, to have a game plan to shoot a huge amount of three pointers is not necessarily smart. But you know what? Quantity turned into quality, which is weird because sometimes we don't shoot a whole lot. We shoot like 30% from three, but we shot a whole bunch of threes, way more than usual, and we shot 40% from three. Now that's an interesting side effect. I think that has a lot to do with those two guys being extremely hot from three, though. But yeah, Oshai is my number one star of the game. He was fantastic. He had missed only one shot, 9 of 10 from the field, 6 of 7 from three. So he missed a three, and that was it. He made 6 of them, though. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 0 turnovers, a plus 33 in 24 minutes. That's fantastic. What a bounce back. Can we average this out? Can we understand what Lex was trying to say this week about how nothing is static and just straight line? There's ebbs and flows and ups and downs. And Oshai was on a down from last game, but he was on an up for this game. And that's fantastic. And not to mention, we know he's going to shoot these threes. He's so good from three right now. He's also going to be doing premium defensive stuff on the other end of the court. So we know that. So a very well-earned first star of the game, where honestly, there's a lot of candidates for being first star of the game in this game. But Oshai, to me, was the one. Just because the confidence he's showing in shooting the three and the confidence in his teammates to find him when he's at the three-point line to make the threes is really, really good right now. Yeah, he was locked in last night. That was fantastic, man. I was so proud of him. Jamison Battle is my second star of the game. Jamison was fantastic. In some ways, I was like, holy crap, this is what's going to have to happen with Jamison. Jamison Battle is going to have to be converted from a two-way because we're going to run out of games for him. We're coming up quick on it. We've already played him like 25 games or something. We played him. He's been available for pretty much almost all the games this season. And he's got a 50-game limit. And we're going to run into that if we continue to play him like this, and he's just going to stay up here. Now, there could be a period where we get healthy, and Jamison exclusively goes down to 905 for a while and just really puts in some work down there. And that's kind of like in the middle. And then we have him for the stretch run. And then Bobby and Masai kind of have to make a decision on whether they want to convert him. It doesn't mean anything if we convert him if we're not in the playoffs. So they won't do it likely if we're not really in playoff contention. But if we're in playoff contention and we want Jamison Battle to be eligible to play for us in the postseason, we'll have to convert his two-way to a regular contract. And I think that the signs of this happening are there already. It's not like Shamshay or Carton are going to get converted. Carton can't stay healthy, and Shamshay's only 18. And in some ways, he'll be lucky if he gets 50 games up on the big club this year. But Jamison Battle's burning through them very fast. And I have a feeling that sooner or later, he's going to get treated like Yuta Watanabe and get a two-way converted for us. So we'll have to see. I think it's very likely because he's been showing such promise. I mean, he was amazing last night. Jamison Battle, 22 minutes, 9 of 11. So very similar to Oshai. I mean, what is that? 18 of 22 between the two of them. And most of them were 3-point shots. that's crazy, man. That's like video game, Game Shark shooting or something like that. That's like cheat code. There was some cheat code going on last night. 6 of 8 from three, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. -1, 24 points in 22 minutes. He had more points than minutes that he played. Yeah, wow. The Pelicans announcers were kind of like, yeah, Jamison's just adding to his career high over with getting layups here and stuff like that. Yeah, he was fantastic. He was really dialed in, and I really like what he said after the game in the post-game press conference, that he's very neutral. He's very much this. I mean, this is the way to be, and I wish Raptors fan nation would be more like this. Just be neutral, be still, be in the middle. And don't overreact to good stuff and don't overreact to bad stuff. Just he used the analogy that he's a car in neutral, and the car can either drift forward or back, and you can't really totally control it sometimes. In some ways, you just got to go with the flow and let things happen how they are. In some ways, it's very zen. And the fact that he started talking about journaling, I was like, oh man, this guy, he really is paying attention to what he's doing. and he's looking back and seeing where he was before at past mile markers and understanding it's a journey, it's a process, and he's got a lot of time to look back and see how much he's progressed and grown. He feels really grateful for this opportunity, the fact that he was undrafted and that he kind of just showed up at our summer league and he's carved out this path is amazing. And honestly, he's continuing to progress. In some ways, he's more ahead than any of our rookies right now. Seriously, he's more ahead than any of our rookies. And if you had told me that Jamison Battle is the most ahead of our rookie class out of the five of them, I would be like, wow, that's impressive. That's very, very impressive. So I'm really, really happy with Jamison and Oshai, the way they shot last night. RJ Barrett's my third star of the game. RJ on the low undercover RJ out there, everybody else is getting shine and doing all this stuff. And then you look at RJ's stat line after the game, you're like, holy crap, he got a double-double. And he was a double-double in assists. And it's like, wait a second. What were we talking about in the last couple of days? Some people worrying about the fit of Barnes and Barrett. No, 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 no. We saw Barrett throw the Grady Dick lob pass to Barnes last night, and Barnes threw down a really nice dunk in transition. No, the vibes are strong. The connection's strong. The fit is nice. And RJ and Scotty can pass to each other either which way. And there's assist for somebody and a bucket for the other one. Man, they're awesome, man. And RJ was awesome. He was very efficient. Very, very efficient, very understated. In some ways, he did exactly, just like Oshai did exactly what Darko was complaining about him. Well, some of the RJ people, somebody who came in here this week talking trash about RJ. Well, how you like him now, motherfucker, is what I'll say to the person who was in here a couple days ago talking shit about RJ. How you like him now? Seriously, he got a double-double on the down low. He didn't even have to be the focal point. Nobody really kind of even paid attention to him. There was a lot of attention on Scott. There's a lot of attention on Oshai and Jamison and the young rookie Jacoby Walter getting his first start. But RJ Barrett, in some ways, forgotten and just kind of playing in there and doing amazing things in the whole glue of the middle of it. And he was fantastic. 8 of 15, so he shot over 50%. That's very efficient. 3 of 7 from 3, 3 of 7 from the free throw line. Once again, RJ does one of these weird things where he shoots the same percentage at the free throw line as threes. What is that, RJ? At least this was a blowout against the injured Pelicans, so your missed free throws aren't like causing us all the stress and grief that they normally do, because in some ways the game was well in hand. And it's like, oh, RJ's going to miss his free throws again just for the hell of it. 8 rebounds, 11 assists. So he's just 2 rebounds away from a triple-double. It would be his second in his career and his second in like the last month. 4 turnovers, though, plus 23, 22 points, 33 minutes. Yeah, that double-double really surprised me. Like, I didn't see him doing it during the game. Like, the fact that he had 11 assists at the end of the game just shocked me. Because I didn't realize RJ was being such a focal point of passing everybody the whole entire game. It was a very undercover, efficient, amazing game by RJ. And in some ways, he proved that he could do really good stuff for the team overall and not be the guy who's just so right in the spotlight and the guy who everybody's paying attention to. He was an undercover efficiency machine. And man, I was so here for it. RJ, you were awesome, man. You proved those naysayers wrong. My 4th star is Jacoby Walter. Now, this is an interesting thing that happened with Jacoby. Listen, Jacoby Walter was on 905 3 days ago. Jacoby Walter has been hurt twice. He hurt his shoulder a couple times already this year. And in some ways, he went to 905 and he did a rehab assignment down there for 2 games. Now, in the 2 games that he played for 905, he was fantastic. He played at a very, very high level. And, Grady got hurt. Now, if Grady doesn't get hurt, Jacoby's not coming up like this in some ways. Because honestly, it's because Grady got hurt that Jacoby got the rise up. Now, Jacoby showed up with the team in Detroit, and he was already with the team in Detroit. And but he didn't get there in time to dress and to be able to play. But we knew he was going to play last night. Now, I was shocked that they put him in the starting lineup. I was just surprised. It's not that in some ways, Monique overreacted to what I said, because in some ways I was just saying this is very surprising, because in some ways Jacoby has not played in the NBA very much, not hardly at all. But there were signs that were showing that this would be possible and this might happen. And I'll go over them real quick. In summer league, when Jacoby would be practicing in the ballroom with the whole team, he was often wearing the black starter's jersey at that point. So in some ways, Darko's already had it in his mind that he wants him to be starter level player for the Raptors. Now, his shoulder injuries kept him off the court and kept him away from being able to play. So that hasn't been possible in a lot of ways. This held him back. So in some ways, it was interesting that he decided to start him last night. It was a real surprise to me because, Jonathan Mobo's gotten way more time on the court so far. Jamison Battle, obviously, after what he did last night, in some ways could have been a really good replacement for Grady in the starting lineup. So it was just a real fucking shock to me. Like, it was just surprising. And there were a couple of other things that I should have paid attention to that would have told me that he was probably going to start. And one of them is the proximity of New Orleans to Texas, as far as like the ability for Darko to give a start to Jacoby and have all of his friends and families get there from Texas and come and be in Louisiana and New Orleans. It's very, very close. Trust me, Houston to New Orleans is not far. And that's one thing I should have saw. And the other thing is that he's Missy. He's Missy is a Baylor player that played with Jacoby. They're very close. They did the jersey swap after the game. And in some ways, you wanted to make it special for Jacoby in his first start. Say, all right, we're going to start you in New Orleans where your family can come from Texas. And also, you're going to be playing against your teammate from Baylor on the other side. And he's starting also. So there's a lot of different things that made sense about him starting afterwards. Now, I said before the game, if this is a bad idea, because I thought it might be a bad idea possibly because Jacoby is so green. And in some ways, we've had such a hard time starting games that I've been worried about messing up games right at the very beginning of the game. The classic, the Raptors can't shoot or make any baskets to start the game, and the other team's running away and getting like a double-digit to 20-point lead in the first quarter. So I had worries, and these are very plausible worries, that Jacoby Walter, being so green, would not be possibly perfect or good enough in some ways that he might get rookie mistakes and cause us to be in trouble. It could have very easily been that Jacoby came out there and was 0 for 5 to start the game, and in some ways not helping us beat the Pelicans right away. But I was wrong. And this is it is an example of when, like I say all the time, we don't know more than the coaches. We don't know more than Bobby Webster. We don't know more than Masai. And in some ways, I'm proving this by showing myself not knowing more than Darko right now. And it really is like the tip of the iceberg is the games we see, the 905 games, the Raptors games, but the practice is so deep and underneath the water, we don't see everything that's going on behind. So Darko obviously had a lot of confidence in Jacoby. He saw things that he was doing in 905 the last couple games, and he's like, he's ready, and he wanted to bring him up, and he was right. And in some ways, this is the exact proof that we don't fucking know what we're talking about. Any of us. We can say things and say this and stuff like that, but we're not in these rooms with these players and coaches behind the scenes and understanding everything. So this is where I have to eat crow on this and say I was wrong about Jacoby. In some ways, my fears about what could possibly happen were, real, but the outcome was not, and everything was fine. And he played exceptionally well. In fact, I was very proud of him. It was very, very interesting to see. He had a couple times where he made rookie mistakes in the first quarter, but his athleticism and his get after it made up for it. He turned the ball over, and then he immediately went and stole it back. This is very much like Scott. When Scott was a rookie, he first showed up, he would turn the ball over in stupid ways, but he would get so aggravated with turning the ball over, he'd make up for it by going to get the ball back. And I love that. In some ways, that shows a real tenacity and get after it by Walter and Scott in those situations, but also a fact that, like, they have a real energy to them, and they care and they want to compete. And I love that. Jacoby making his first shot when he came out there was fantastic. It was a good sign. And I could already hear Monique coming at me saying, I told you so, Legs. I told you so, Legs. In some ways, that's not necessary. I think that my concerns were very, valid before the game, but they were really not valid once 5 minutes in the game. That's for sure. Jacoby proved me wrong. I will say that. Yeah, he had 6 of 14 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3. He missed his only free throw, 11 rebounds, so he got a double-double, which is impressive. His first start was a double-double. 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, a plus 31 with 14 points in 28 minutes. Yeah, he was great. He did make a couple mistakes, but he made up for them more so. In a plus 30 is fantastic. A plus 31, and getting double digit rebounds really shows he's working. He was in there mixing it up. He's so strong already. I was worried about him when we drafted him that he looked really skinny and not very tough, but he's taken to get muscle quick. And I'm really impressed with how quickly Jacoby Walter's transforming. I mean, seriously, this guy missed training camp. This guy has been not available for a lot of stuff already this year. And to see him come out and play a very confident game as a starter was very, very good foreboding for the future. And it really does kind of tip the hat that Darko sees this guy as being a future starter for the Raptors. That he should be a starter. He's not going to be a guy who's mired in the bench and kind of in rotation. Is if he's healthy and he's playing at a high level and he's making his shots, he can have a starting spot. And I don't know how that fits with the whole puzzle of the guys that we've got on the team and everything like that. But that's the signal we're getting from the coaching staff and the way that they look at him. In some ways he's been hurt and the other guys have gotten so much shine and he's kind of been relegated back. But this is a way of Darko showing that this guy's important and we want him to play too. Now, let's not get it twisted. Jonathan Mobo and Jamal Shed have both started games too this season, I believe. I think Shed's started a game. I know Mobo has for sure. Maybe Shed hasn't. But, in some ways, we got to remember, Jacoby's a first-round pick. The other guys are all second-round picks or undrafted. And in some ways, there's a talent excellence for being a first-round pick that we have to remember. The fifth star of the game, in my eyes, was Scotty Barnes. Scotty was not the most efficient, as Jack said. He said something like this in the middle of the game, and it may be because Jack is hearing some of the stuff we're saying on this channel. He's saying, yeah. Scotty's not the most efficient, but his energy he's putting out there is so important and so helpful for us to win. I agree with him. Scotty was fine. 7 and 23 is not the most efficient. That's under 30% from the field. So it's not the best shooting night for Scott. In fact, he took a lot of threes early. He was one of these guys that was increasing our three-point shot attempts, but he was hitting the front of the rim almost on every single one of them in the first half. Every single time he took a three, it clanked off the front of the rim. It was short. And I'm like, what's going on with Scott? Why is he shooting these short-ass shots? I don't know. In some ways, I was annoyed that Scotty was settling for the outside first and not going inside to build out to the outside shot. But it didn't matter in some ways because the Pelicans were the Pelicans the way they are right now. And in some ways, Scotty could kind of screw around and just shoot a lot of, in some ways, careless three-pointers, honestly. Careless three-pointers. But he was fine. The overall game was really good. 2 for 12 from 3. So that's what I'm saying. 10 missed for three-pointers. And quite often they were short, which was weird. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. But here, this is where we get the good stuff from Scott. 12 rebounds, including 4 offensive rebounds, 7 assists, 1 block. He did have 5 turnovers, but he was a plus 33. So he was doing all kinds of stuff on defense, just really, really active and getting after it. We saw Scott get hit in the head a couple times, which was scary, is they actually literally hit the kid's glasses off. Wasn't there supposed to be a rule about you don't hit somebody with glasses? Where's that rule? Trey Jemison really did a nasty lick to Scotty at one point where it looked like he may have re-injured his face. And I don't want to hear anything crazy in the after report. I mean, we saw RJ hit the floor hard. We saw Scotty get smacked in the face at least twice where his glasses went flying off. And I don't want to hear no post-game injury stuff today from the game last night because of cheap shots like that. Jemison is a really big, strong player, and I have a lot of respect for him. I think that he's a good player, but I didn't like seeing him take a dirty swipe at Scotty's face and, almost broke his glasses. We keep seeing Jakob have to come and pick up Scotty's glasses and bring them to him. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. Scott's a tough guy, though, but it's so, hold your breath when you see somebody striking at his head right now. Really, really, I don't like it. And in some ways, Pat Frere and Sean Corbin we're looking out for Scott in some ways by punishing people that kind of hit at him and giving him free throws. In some ways they see Scotty's eye and they see his face and they're like, man, you guys don't need to be keeping on hitting him in the face. I mean, already look at him and look what Nikola did to him. And some people don't need to add more injury to him by keep smacking him around the face where his lens is popping out of his goggles and stuff like that. That was messed up, man. So those are my 5 stars of the game. They were really good. Other guys, will go over the rest of them. Mixed bag, but those guys were definitely the 5 best guys on the court. And Oshai, Jameson, wow. That's all I got to say right there. Wow. What a crazy shooting performance by those guys. It was really, really good, man. Really, really good. Monique saying 905 plays poorly most of the game. Quincy ball out. Chandler too. DJ Carton back. Yeah, it was nice to see DJ Carton healthy and back in the starting lineup for the 905. Yeah, but you know what? This team is jokes. It's annoying, man. Like, I see other G League teams, the way they carry themselves, and there is a level of professionalism and caring about doing the little things. And the 905 just don't have it. It's the same thing that happened with Curry is happening with Andrew Jones right now. And I hate to say it, but I don't think it has to do with the coach. I think it has to do with the atmosphere of G League and just the way that it is. It's a cutthroat, dog-eat-dog world in G League. And in some ways, it's not a team supportive kind of environment. And sadly, our team is just not gelling the right way. Now, I would say this. If Shamshay was older and wiser and could be controlling the game a little bit more by himself, they'd have more of a chance to win. But because he's so green, his talent is untapped, and in some ways, he can't do the things on the court to absolutely help his team win. In some ways, we're lacking the right kind of leaders to do this. And that's part of the problem. Other teams have JD Davison, and he knows what to do as a point guard and a scorer to help the Maine Celtics win. We're lacking certain things on our team. Maybe DJ needed a game of rhythm to come back and get more into being the point guard leader for this team. But yeah, it's weird. I hate it in some ways. It was a very interesting 905 game. It was very difficult to watch both games at the same time. It was a lot of jumping back and forth. And at one point in the 905 game, Keith Pelly came on and he talked for like 15 minutes. I turned off the Raptors game audio to listen to Keith Pelly because I haven't heard the man talk very much. And listening to the new president of MLSC, the guy who's in charge of everything, in between Ed Rogers and Masai Ujiri, it was very crucial. And so I listened to him, and I was very delighted with what I heard. Keith Pelly is a very interesting person. He's very enthusiastic, and he's very like a fan, which was kind of cool to hear what he was saying about coming to 905 for the experience there. It was one of the first time he's been there in a while. He'd been there before, but he hadn't been to a 905 game. And he was going on and on about what his visions are for the teams under MLSE, and he had some interesting things he said. He said that in January, they're going to start a new pool for fans that are fanatical and diehards but don't have a lot of money. They're going to have free tickets for fanatical fans. And if you can get into this pool, a lottery pool, you have to prove that you're a diehard, that you're going to come to the game, kind of like the Steve Ballmer stuff, wear Raptors gear and be very loud. And they're going to make a section of the arena in January where they're going to give free tickets to people. You don't even have to pay. They're going to start giving free Raptors tickets to people that are on this registry. In some ways, it's very similar to what the Clippers were doing. And I'm glad they're listening. In some ways, Keith Pelly made it very clear that MLSE is listening to the fans saying that things are too expensive and there's not access. One of the things he very much keyed on, it was saying that we are trying to open up our building and our games and our teams to everyone, and it doesn't have to do with money, which was interesting. He said we're doing tours through the Scotiabank Arena now more often. People can come in and see what's going on in the building. We have all kinds of different ideas to outreach and try and fix some of the concerns y'all are saying. So I like this. Keith Pelly's not just a CEO that's just doing his job and sitting back and watching everything. He's listening and he's trying to change things. And he said it's very important that they're inclusive and allowing all the Raptors fans and fans of different teams from MLSE access to get in there. In some ways, they see what the Clippers are doing, I'm telling you, and they're stealing notes and they're going to do stuff. And it sounds like he's very proactive about this. He just got on the job and it really does matter to him. He talked about the 905 not the 905, the Raptors 2K, NBA 2K team and the 2K league, and making that more important. In fact, he said they're going to start playing their 2K games in Real Sports Bar and Grill, and that they want more people because they've been doing it in Coca-Cola Coliseum, which is a horrible venue for it. There's not very good just walk up foot traffic there. And nobody's going to show up and watch them play video games to go all the way down the Bathurst line and take the streetcar all the way out to Exhibition Place. No, they're going to put the Raptors 2K video game team, which he said was important, that he really cares about. And he's like, I want to get this video game team up. I'm like, holy crap. The CEO of MLSC cares about the Raptors 2K video game team. That's cool. He wants to put their games in real sports and put them up on the big screen in that venue. That's smart. That's really brilliant idea. So some of the stuff I was hearing from Keith Pelly was very intelligent and right on point, and he's listening to us. In fact, he may very well listen to my stream sometimes. But yeah, he heard our concerns, and he wants to get better access to games for common fans that are real ones so they can be in the building and be loud. I'm going to guess that it maybe even be that section that we've all been sitting in recently, that the end line over there on the west end of the Scotiabank Arena, that section may be the section where they're going to start giving free tickets to people. We'll have to see how this works. We'll have to see. Maybe to be up in the Sprite Zone, the old classic Sprite Zone. We'll have to see how it works. But I like what Keith Pelly's saying. And honestly, he was so enthusiastic. He sounds like a really positive force and the right person to be in that position right now. I was jaded and a little worried because of his ties to TSN, the Leafs, and Rogers, and the corporate stuff that he's been involved with. But man, the way he came and did that interview with Matt Cullen and Warren last night was really, really a good sign, because I hadn't heard the guy talk hardly at all. And getting like 10, 15 minutes of Keith Pelly just talking his real self on the mic at 9:05 last night was really good sign. Really, really good sign. I'm a big fan of you, Keith Pelly. You do what you do, man. I trust you. You sound like you're on it. And the things you were saying were music to my ears. Fantastic stuff. Now, besides all that, because that was maybe the most important thing that I saw last night out of anything between both games, is listening to the MLSC's CEO talk for 10 minutes with that broadcast crew. And in fact, the crazy thing is he's on the air talking to them, and the 905 go on a crazy run and close the gap and actually almost take the lead while Keith was on there. I'm like, Keith, don't get up. Don't leave, man. They're winning because they're doing better because you're sitting there, man. Because they were playing way, way better when he sat down in the third quarter. And they had a fantastic third quarter after shitting the bed in the second quarter. The second quarter was just like the Pelicans' third quarter last night. There's a couple teams just got stalled out and couldn't score. It looked like the 905 were stuck on 39 for like 10 minutes in the second quarter last night. They were just stuck on 39. Meanwhile, Maine Celtics are like at 60. And the Raptors 905 are stuck on 39. The score didn't change for like the longest time. It was crazy. It was like a long-ass period where they did not score a single damn point. And that's the Maine Celtics just got a huge lead. And then, they kind of threatened to try and win at the end. But it was the same kind of, like, people call it the Raptors fake, like, comeback kind of phenomena. I think that's bullshit, first of all. Every team's going to try and come back. It's not always going to be successful. So naming something the Raptors fake comeback is a dumb thing. Nah, they were so close. And if they just tighten up and all the little dumb mistakes that they make throughout the game, they could have won the game last night. They lost by 7, 121 to 114. My stars of the game for this one, there are 3 stars. Kennedy Chandler, my number 1 star, he was actually really efficient and good last night. Kennedy Chandler's heralded. In some ways, Keith Pelly went on about Kennedy Chandler last night. Oh, this Kennedy Chandler from Tennessee, he's such a great ball player. He's a real good scorer. He's talking him up and all this stuff. And I liked hearing this. Keith Pelly is a sports fan. He, of course, he's going to have a lot of emphasis and attention on the Leafs. And he did talk about the Leafs on the podcast. But he did talk a lot about how 905 is important. And it sounds like Keith Pelly is going to be trying to make the experience out at Paramount Fine Food Center more and more attractive to people, because he probably sees, as a businessman and a CEO, the potential for growth in revenue out there because there's empty seats in the 905 stands. And if he can increase the attractiveness of people going to more 905 games, that is a place where he can show success to his bosses and to the people in the organization. So I could see him getting even more creative and influential with Courtney Charles and the crew out in Mississauga to as a growth potential for the company. That I could see that he looks at 905 as something that is very important in the organization of MLSE, and that he wants to explore the growth of getting more people in the seats and making more money out there. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, Chandler, 33 minutes, 12 of 16. That's fantastic shooting from him. I love it. 12 of 16. Kennedy Chandler, you go. 1 of 2 from 3. He didn't get the free throw line, which is mystifying to me because that man's always hurling himself at the basket. 7 assists with only 2 turnovers, 3 steals, and a block. A +8 with 25 points in 33 minutes. Yeah, Chandler, you were ethical last night. You were ethical. In some ways, you're proving me more and more like I should give you more of a chance. Charlie Brown, I'm still not on you. But Kennedy Chandler, you may still have redemptive hope before the end of this 905 season. In some ways, I see you out there working, man. I got to give you respect. My second star of the game for yesterday was Canada's own Quincy Guerriere, returning from the Saskatoon, Canada FIBA games last week and coming back with a whole bunch of energy. 11 of 21. Fantastic shooting by our Canadian guy. 27 points in 36 minutes. 1 of 4 from 3. He made both his free throws. 4 offensive rebounds. 9 rebounds altogether. 1 assist. -1. Yeah, Quincy was awesome. Quincy was definitely, him and Kennedy were the two guys driving the Raptors 905 yesterday and doing most of the good stuff for them. And Quincy was just active and very, very engaged in the game. I would say that. My third star and final star for this game is Eugene Omoruyi. Eugene had, he was weird. He was like carrying the team once again in the middle of the game, and his game wasn't that clean. In some ways, he wasn't as ethical and efficient as I like. 6 of 13 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, and 5 fouls, a +2 with 16 points in 24 minutes. But the thing is, not a lot of people did very well on the 905, and I had to pick somebody. But Eugene was okay. I mean, he got 16 points and 9 rebounds and battled in there, So 2 of our Canadian guys getting 2 out of the 3 stars for the 905 last night. Kenny Chandler, Quincy Guerriere, and Eugene Omoruyi. Shamshay played 21 minutes. He got 4 points. He was a -10. He had 4 turnovers and 5 fouls. It's a learning curve. In some ways, Shamshay's not going to be a superstar right away, guys. We got to let him cook. And, it's interesting because Keith didn't outright say something about Shamshay, but he's saying there's some real future superstars on this 905 court right now. And he didn't have to say it. I knew exactly who he was talking about. He's talking about our prince from Cameroon. That there are future superstars that are going to be in the NBA on this court right now. Keith Pelly's saying this, and I know he means Shamshay. I know he does. Yeah, 5 rebounds for Shamshay, 1 block, yeah, and 4 points. It's just not one of his better performances. It is what it is. Learning curve is happening. DJ Carton has returned, 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, a -19 with 10 points in 20 minutes. Yeah, ease him back in. In some ways, you could tell DJ's missed some time. He needs to get his rhythm back, and he's going to be fine. He still does really good pro stuff, and I'm just glad he's back on the court. In some ways, the time that DJ Carton's been a two-way for the Raptors, he's missed way too many games, whether it's last season or this season. And him being healthy and back out there is fantastic. I really like DJ Carton a lot. Dylan Disu off the bench, 11 minutes, 5 points and 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He wasn't bad. He hit his only 3-point attempt, 2 of 3 from the field. Disu, just a little bit of him, not a whole lot. Miles Burns got back into the game last night. He was hitting the floor hard last night. He was hustling, getting after it. There were a really comical section of time, but it wasn't comical to him, where he went flying up at the basket. He got hit in the air and fell on the ground and got hurt. And then he jumped up and ran down court, and they got a steal, and he was running back, and then he tried to attack the rim again. And exactly the same thing happened, where he went up and elevated, try and dunk it, and they hit him out of the air, and he fell real hard on the court. Like 2 in a row, right? Like that. And in some ways, Warren was laughing at him about it, but then it's like, that's not a good taste to laugh at a guy getting hurt twice right in a row. It was weird. Basketball's a weird game. You'll see weird little sequences that you've never seen before in your life, and seeing Miles Burns jump up and try and dunk twice and get hit out of the air and fall on the ground twice so quickly in the game was weird. It was weird. But yeah, Miles was out there fighting and working. 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 1 at 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 turnovers, 7 points in 14 minutes. He was active. He was getting after it. After a DMP this weekend, he wanted to make sure he's fighting for his rotational minutes by showing the effort for Andrew Jones. And kudos to you, Miles Burns, for getting out there and busting your ass. Kevin O'Banner, just 8 minutes. He missed all of his shots, including 2 threes, 5 rebounds, and 0 points is basically what O'Banner did last night. Tyreek Key, off night for Key. Key was not Key last night. 1 of 3 from the field, missed both his 3 attempts. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, though. That's weird. 2 blocks, but no threes. That's weird, Tyreek Key. What are you doing? 2 points for him in 31 minutes. Yeah, that's just not the points production from Tyreek Key that you're going to expect. You're going to play 30 minutes. You only get 2 points. Something's wrong there. He was off. Evan Gilliard, 19 minutes, 3 of 7. He missed both his threes. 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a -8 with 8 points in 19 minutes. Just not getting good points production from the Raptors bench last night overall. Just not getting very good points production. And in some ways, the Raptors offense was looking like the Raptors 905 offense was looking like the Pelicans offense at times. We're just overly struggling in dry spells where they just couldn't put it in the basket. Specifically in that 14-point second quarter last night. I said they were stuck on 39 points for most of that quarter. They didn't add any points in that quarter. Only 14 points. Meanwhile, the other side scored 34 points. So they outscored us by 20 in just the second quarter last night in Mississauga. That's crazy. Charlie Brown, the final player I should go over, 22 minutes, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 10 points in 22 minutes for Charlie Brown Jr. Nothing really to say there. I like him in smaller doses. I like that he didn't start last night. Yeah, keep him coming off the bench, Andrew Jones. Yeah, it sucks. In some ways, we're not adding up to winning. As Monique says, they're just not playing good enough to win. And that's the truth. That's exactly right what Monique's saying when she says that. Just not playing good enough to win. Yeah, really good to see DJ back, though. Super fan Mo saying Jacoby starts. Lex, I like his stat line. Jamison battles a keeper. 2-6, 905. Yeah, 2-6 is not a good record to start. In some ways, we expected so much more from them. In some ways, coming in the season, I was like, man, the Raptors record may be really bad, but the 905 should have a really good record. And that's not the case. In some ways, the 905 is mirroring the Raptors record totally right now. And that's too bad. I think it's the injuries on the Raptors level that are causing this. If we had Mobo and Shed and all those guys playing down there and battle, they'd be killing it. They probably have a winning record and being more involved. But once again, what are the franchise's goals? What do we care about as an organization? Do we care about winning the tip-off tournament in the G League? Is that what we're caring about? No, we're caring about development. In some ways, we're caring about supplementing our main squad with our rookies while people are injured over wins in the development league. So it is what it is. In some ways, I'm disappointed. I was really hoping. Now, this is the great thing about the G League is they have 2 seasons. It could very well be in the second season when the Raptors are more healthy and we have more of our rookies down around the 905 in the second part of the season, we could go for a G League championship. And that could be like once the calendar flips to 2025, the new schedule, the new season starts, and we start all over. And maybe Andrew Jones starts with a new kind of setting of like, look, guys, we're not going to screw this part of the season up. We're going to come out there and we're going to win more than we lose, and we're going to try and win a G League championship. That's what I'd like to see. But if they don't have their best players available to them because they're necessary on the main squad because of injury, well, they're not going to do what they're supposed to do. Trevor's here. Good morning, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Learn to be your own best friend, because there's going to be days where no one is going to be there for you but yourself. Welcome to my world, Trevor. You know, in some ways, the pandemic taught me how to live by myself and be very happy. In some ways, I have a hard time being around people at this point. In some ways, I'm okay with being isolated and all on my own. I enjoy it more than being around people at this point. It's crazy. They got too good at being alone because of the pandemic and the close downs and stuff. I'm love having this connection with you guys socially through this channel and all the different people that I communicate with on my private time. But in some ways, I'm really happy that I live alone and that I have my solitude and my time to myself to be myself and do what I want to do. And that it's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing. Once you're able to be completely by yourself, there's a certain level of independence and yourself and happiness that you get to at a certain point. You stop feeling lonely. Like, oh, when I was younger, I always wanted to be around people. And like, if I wasn't doing things with people, like I wouldn't want to go to the mall or go to like the movies without somebody going with me or going to the restaurant to eat. I'm like, going to eat at a restaurant by yourself is the most depressing thing, right? No, it's not. It's not. I got really good at all of that as a single bachelor in my life. That I've gotten really, really good at just being completely on my own. When you get to that point, well, there's a certain level of independence and ability in your life it's weird. In some ways, once you've been like that with the solitude, sometimes being around a lot of people annoys the hell out of you. I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy. Like I wasn't ready to come back to society when the pandemic ended. I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all go back to work, y'all go back out and to do everything. I'll stay home. I'm fine with it in some ways. I really am. Monique saying Scotty and RJ are amazing. Yeah, I agree. Let's go look at their Instagram stories with that cue because there's something on the Instagram from that. Teresa Resch is out with Christine Simpson, y'all, the Canadian icon. There she is at an event, and she's looking very dapper in her outfit. And yeah, just good stuff. Teresa's building the momentum to go into the new WNBA Toronto period. And well, we're still waiting with bated breath to find out what the name of the WNBA team is. You guys have been asking the admin and coming at them, and they keep joking with y'all and saying, I'm just a cool guy who works here who knows the name, but I won't tell you. I don't know how many people actually know the name of our WNBA franchise currently right now. Maybe a very, very small handful of like on one hand that actually know the real name and the logo and everything that they're going to put out in January. I'm telling you, they got to print the shirts, they got to print the hats, and they're going to have them all ready for right when they announce it. You will be able to go and buy their stuff right away because they want to capitalize on the excitement and the newness of the immediate reaction of finding out what this team is going to be and what their identity is. So, yeah, get ready in January. It's coming closer. We just got December now. After November's done, yeah, and when we'll find out what Teresa Resch and them have been cooking this past year. That's right. She's also posting something about AAP update Sport Canada pregnancy cards. The government of Canada will fund additional cards for pregnant athletes. This will make sure eligible athletes continue to receive financial support during and after pregnancy. This is interesting. I mean, this is a good program. In some ways, women in sports does have different issues than men in sports, and this is it. You get pregnant, in some ways you're not going to be able to play. But do you want to make choices in your life where you don't have children because you're just an athlete and you don't want to do this? Some of them may do that. But in some ways, that's not fair to them if they do want to have a family and you want to try and fit it in somewhere, somehow. It's such an interesting thing. And it's nice to see that the government of Canada has a program to give assistance to female athletes that may want to step away from professional sports and have children. With the rise of the PWHL and the WNBA in Canada, this issue is going to be more important going forward. Scotty Barnes posting the three amigos from last night. 24 points for Oshai, 24 points for Jamison, and 22 for RJ. That's something that's cool. I like seeing three Raptors with 20-point games. That's fantastic. That's a really nice balance, and we're coming at them. And in some ways, if you pick the three-man combination of RJ, Jamison, and Oshai as being the three with 20, some people would be like, wait, what? Scotty's not one of the guys with 20? Or Grady? Well, Grady's not healthy. He's not playing. But that's an interesting threesome. They got that 20-point accomplishment. There's the TikTok that's getting played on everybody's Instagram this morning is the one from the summer at the locker room for the Raptors. Jacoby, Jamal, and Jonathan are three rookie Jays. Well, Jamison's another rookie Jay. But they are doing a TikTok dance, and they're doing a certain song, and everybody reposted it last night as the victory dance for beating the Pelicans last night, and specifically partly because of Jacoby starting and being so prominent in the game last night. So fantastic. Scotty's reposted it, and he's laughing. He's laughing at his best friend, John, and Jacoby and Jamal doing their little dance to their song on TikTok from the summer and posting it as a celebration. So Scotty loves it. He loves it, 90%. And then he's showing the RJ alley-oop pass to himself. And this is what Scott wrote on his Instagram, reposting the highlight of RJ throwing a beautiful transition alley-oop to Scotty Barnes. That was just like the one that Grady threw for RJ the other day. And Scotty said, good pass, 9. I'm telling you, man, these guys are very good fit and they are enjoying being teammates. They may have been rivals when they were in high school, but now in the NBA on the same team now in Toronto, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett is a fantastic pairing and they fit really well. And Scotty is acknowledging it right here. Good pass, 9. He appreciates getting the dunk from a great assist from RJ Barrett. That's fantastic. Scotty's checking in Miami on his Instagram next. He's got some sort of Gucci bag, some sort of expensive bag. You know, Scotty does like that expensive stuff. You know, Supreme, different brands and stuff. He will be buying them clothing and bags and stuff like that. So he's showing a bag and he's in Miami. And I'm wondering, today's Thanksgiving, guys. It's American Thanksgiving. And they're in Miami. That's where Scott and Jonathan's families are. I'm wondering if they're going to do a team Thanksgiving dinner or if the guys were able to leave New Orleans from there. I mean, in some ways, New Orleans is a central enough place in the South that some of the guys like Jacoby and Jamal, they're from Texas, that they could easily go and do Thanksgiving in Texas today, get on a plane and still get to Miami for tomorrow's game. You know, some of the guys that don't want to go somewhere, maybe some of the guys are from overseas. Maybe they're going to Mama Barnes's house and they're sitting with Scotty and his family and they're making a big, huge Jamaican jerk Thanksgiving feast for the Raptors team and staff that want to go there. I mean, this isn't out of the wheelhouse of NBA history. You know, players would do this if they're in their hometowns. Like Kyle Lowry would have people in Philadelphia. We'd be on the road in Philadelphia around that time. Maybe he's doing a Thanksgiving dinner for the team. So I could see maybe Scotty and Jonathan doing a joint Thanksgiving meal for Raptors personnel today to celebrate Thanksgiving. And obviously, Scotty's going to be with his family because he's in Miami today. So that's, in some ways, I wonder about that too. That's very fishy to me, you know? And once again, it's fishy to me that also that we're playing an in-season tournament game on the 4th game of a road trip and also the day after American Thanksgiving where guys may be loaded up with a lot of food. So I have to see, hopefully nobody's sluggish tomorrow from eating too much food today for our in-season tournament game against Miami in the Heat. Yeah, their court is obnoxious. I hope that they're not using that yellow court tomorrow because it's very obnoxious. I'm sure they are, though. I'm sure they are. I'm sure we're gonna be playing on a very obnoxious court that is going to be visually difficult to watch the game on. Seriously, that's what I've seen on that. Casey Bannerman, very critical of the Miami Heat's NBA Cup floor, is saying you guys just don't understand yellow and the power of it and what it can do as far as like with your viewing. It is very difficult to watch the game on that court on TV. In some ways, they really overdid like the championship yellow gold all over their court in Miami for this in-season tournament year. So that may be something we're going to deal with tomorrow when we go against Miami in the in-season tournament. We may have a very bright ass yellow thing staring in our eyes where we feel like our eyes are burning out. So be ready for that, just in case. RJ Barrett on his Instagram stories is showing that same play, him to Scott, and just like it, he loves that. These guys are a team, and they're partners to win for the Raptors. There he is with his highlight of the 3 amigos scoring 20 points. Oshai, Jameson, and RJ getting the 20 points. And there's that TikTok. Once again, RJ's re-put it on. Jacoby, Jameson, and Jamal, and Jonathan, a 119 and 93 with the score over it. There's Wubbs with his walking on the court from yesterday. Man, this is awesome. Good stuff for the young man. I'm really happy he succeeded. Don't get it wrong. I'm not a hater. In some ways, when I said what I said before the game, it's just I was surprised that Darko was ready to put him in at the deep end of the pool. In some ways, that's what he did last night. He said, you go ahead and get in the deep end, Jacoby, and we're going to see if you sink or swim. Well, he swam very well. In fact, he did laps up and down the pool, and he was fine. He was fine. In fact, I have way more confidence in Jacoby Walter going forward as far as he was a mystery to me. He was a question mark. In some ways, it's like, okay, I understand what Shed is. I understand what Mobo can be. I understand Shamshay's a project. I understand what Jameson is. Obviously, he's a 3-point shooter that can shoot the lights out. I'm not totally sure what Jacoby Walter is. I'm not totally sure what his role is going to be. I'm not totally sure how he fits. And now I'm starting to see it. He's a very active player who likes to put his hands everywhere. He'll steal the ball. He go after rebounds, and he's not a bad shot. And also, he's got moves to try and attack the basket and make shots make it. There was one play where Scotty threw the ball to Jacoby early in the game, and Jacoby didn't go up and elevate. He kind of flipped the shot up, and he made it, and he got an and one. And Scott was really impressed. I could tell, because in some ways that shot showed a baller kind of scorer mentality that Jacoby Walter has, that he made the layup still with contact and falling out of bounds and kind of a weird angle where he flipped it up and it kind of just went up over the rim into the basket and won. So, man, if anything happened last night, I got more confidence in Jacoby Walter, and his future on the Raptors is going to be solid. That's what I'm saying. You know, these young players that come in, you never know if they're going to translate. You never know if they're the kind of players that will survive in the NBA ecosystem. And right now, I'm seeing very good signs that Jacoby's got a place in this league. Jack Armstrong's saying he looks like he belongs. That's what I like to hear when Jack Armstrong's saying that. Jacoby's showing the TikTok from the locker room himself. It's his TikTok. He should be able to post it. Now, I like this way better than the thing where y'all were saying you got beat by the Raptors and the dance from the Afrobeat dancing session that y'all had in the offseason. I'd much rather y'all do this TikTok when you win, because in some ways you're not getting putting down the other team and saying you just lost to the Raptors. It's more you guys are dancing because you won. So if you guys want to do this TikTok every single time y'all win for the rest of the year, it's Lex approved, because I don't see it as throwing salt in the wounds of the other team and giving them more locker room fodder, bulletin board, to be like, we're pissed at the Raptors. Look at how they made fun of us after they won. You just lost the Raptors. Oshai's dancing. Yeah, no, I don't want to see that. I'd rather see y'all just dance and just put the score up there, and that's enough. You don't need to say to the other team, you just lost the Raptors, because honestly, we don't really have the reputation or the things we're doing this season to throw weight around talking shit to other people. We really don't. We've got 5 wins and like 14 losses. So come on now. And well, how much shit talking are we actually allowed to do in the NBA right now? Come on now. There's the jersey swap between the Baylor Dogs, the Baylor guys, Missy and Walter, given the jersey swap. You know, Yves Missy, in some ways, he's overplayed right now because of the Pelicans' injuries. He should not be starting right now. In some ways, I've seen things about him last night. They're very promising, and he's active. He's all over the place, but he would be so much better as a bench role player right now. And he's in the deep end right now, and maybe in some ways too much. And in some ways, this can be very good for a player, but it can also be bad because they start learning bad habits and efficiency, and because they're playing too much. Yeah, you got to be worried about that a little bit. So, yeah, I was very impressed with him. I think he is one of the top rookies in the league right now, but I don't think he should be starting. I think that he would have been way better off at this point if they had full healthy roster for the Pelicans, and that man was coming off the bench as the backup center. It is just what it is, and they got to do what they got to do because of the injuries. There's the 3 amigos on Jacoby's. The 3 amigos is the graphic of the 20 points each, and there's his line himself putting it up there. Look at him getting a double-double in his first start, and hopefully in front of some of his family who traveled from Texas for the game last night. Grady is posting Simple Minds, don't you forget about me. And I'm like, la, 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 la. We know that song, Grady. And I know that you didn't play the exact lyric. Don't you forget about me. I'll be alone after my calf contusion heals. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to forget about you, Grady. In some ways, we know Jacoby and Jamison just had a big game to shine. And in some ways, maybe Grady's like, oh, crap, I wish I wasn't out. Jamison might be coming to get my spot. But no, we're not going to forget about you. And you're a premium badass shooter, and you're awesome. And don't worry about it. We're not forgetting about you. There he is with Quickly in the street clothes after the game, and he's put his hands up like he's praying. Hey, these are children of God, and they're going to do God's work in what they do out there. DJ Carton celebrating the 3 amigos, even though he was in Mississauga, and those guys were down in New Orleans. There's Jamison Battle showing the TikTok dance, even though he's not in the footage. It's the other 3 rookie Jays in there, Jonathan, Jamal, and Jacoby. But yeah, he's in on that. Jay Nathan is saying this: I can't. God can. I can through him. There you go. The belief in God is very strong on this Raptors edition. The shared love of Jesus Christ and what these guys believe in their spirituality is something that really does bond them all. Seriously. It really, really does. And there's Jonathan posting the TikTok of them doing the dance. This is a great celebration TikTok. Seriously, do this one every single time if you guys want to. Just don't do the other one again. Seriously. Emmanuel quickly celebrating the three amigos. And did you notice when RJ hit the floor so hard at the end line? Like, man, he really hit the floor hard. And I'm really kind of worried that he may pop up on the injury list again because of hitting the floor so hard. Emmanuel ran over there to see how he's doing immediately. That's what best friends are like, man. He ran over there to help up RJ and check on him immediately from the bench. So, I mean, that's just how it is. Slim Duck celebrating the three amigos on his Instagram. Jamal Shed has got the TikTok dance in his Instagram of him TikTok dancing with Jacoby and Jonathan. Siakam is showing a nice holiday something. I don't know, somebody with a tree. I guess that's he's talking about Dominique Wilkins. What? He's reading some sort of book. Dominique was nice, man. The human highlight. Oh, yeah, he's a legend. Low key, I want to fuck with him, is what he said. He went, what? He's like, oh, what is that, man? All right. And Siakam got the win. The Pacers won. He's got all of his artistic pictures of his teammates and him coming out of the game. He's like, I'm tired. I'm ready to rest. But yeah, we got that W, baby, and keep going. So there you go. Siakam, keep doing good things for the Pacers and get far this season, man. I want to see y'all win major stuff. Major stuff. Matt Devlin showing off his broadcast crew with Kayla and Jack. They're pretty funny. Kayla, all right now. Davion Mitchell. Why are you doing this champagne stuff, bro, all of a sudden? Now, in some ways, you're not sunning them, which is okay because that's disrespectful. It's just weird, man. You're running up on the interviews right now, and it's awkward, bro. And like Kayla's even like, oh, Davion, you're back again at the end. And Jameson's trying to do his interview. Now, Davion, in some ways, it was interesting to see you kind of do that to Oshai at halftime. But at the end of the game, when you ran up and you say, oh, yeah, I want to do this again, that was kind of like, okay, you're overstaying your welcome. Now, you could do something like what Bruce Brown did. He came in and he yelled up Jameson battle and walked away. But you were running up and you're staying. And you're just standing there like in the middle of it. And she's trying to interview Jameson. I thought we learned something from Justin Champagnie on this, guys. At least you're not sunning people, but you are running up and kind of busting up their moment of shine. Who knows how many times? I'm sure Jameson Battle will get many more post-game interviews, but who knows? That's not guaranteed. I just think it's tacky. And maybe you're like trying to flirt with Kayla or something or not. No, you're not, because you did say I'm thankful for on Thanksgiving for my girlfriend. Both y'all did. Y'all both were saying I'm thankful for my girlfriend. And then Davion said, yeah, I'm thankful for my girlfriend too. I'm like, Davion, this interview is with Jameson Battle, bro. What are you doing here? In some ways, he goes about it much more innocently than Justin used to. So I'm partly okay with it. Just don't make this a habit. Don't make this a thing that you do, bro. It's just not a good look. And in some ways, you want to let your teammates have their shine. Now, the Thunder have their thing where they all stand together and do their interviews and kind of nod their heads with each other and stuff like that. I get that. And in some ways, what you're doing is similar to that. But in some ways also, you want to think about that these are moments that these guys earned from playing in the game, and you don't want to take away from their moment by being, put attention on me all of a sudden. That's the problem. But at least you're not sunning people like Champagnie used to. Oh, my God, that was the worst. 9:05 game day. There's our guys dribbling and getting ready for the game. Too bad y'all couldn't take care of business and get the W. 7-point loss to the 9:05 last night. I did like the starting lineup of Chandler, Carton, Guerrier, Omarui, and Shamshay. That's the best starting lineup y'all had put out there all season long, because Charlie Brown wasn't in it. Charlie Brown wasn't in it. There you go. Yeah, but it's too bad. They had their chances to come back, but too much not tightening up and not playing smart, and it's just not enough. Too little, too late. Too little, too late, 9:05. It's just how it is. Let's see. Is there any more Instagram stories I should look at? There's Kyle Lowry with some kids, and he's happy. There was a fun little moment last night in the Philadelphia game where they were playing the Rockets, and Fred VanVleet came up to Nick, and there was a really awkward hug. Nick was trying to hug Fred, but Fred was like, no, don't hug me, man. He was like kind of holding his arm off. And then Maxey ran up and got in the middle of it and tried to split them up. He's like, no, you can't have – he's my coach now, Fred. Nick Nurse is my coach. Don't you try and be friends with him. Fred's had such a fun week. And that was kind of funny. It was awkward, man. Nick was kind of trying to put his arm up over his shoulder, and Fred was blocking it like he was Cobra Kai. He was like, "Nah, dude, don't put your arm over my shoulder." It was such a weird clip, man, to see that. It's kind of weird. Miles Burns showing him working out before the game. And here's Davion Mitchell. He's in the lab. Yes, sir. Appreciate it, brother. There you go. Davion Mitchell's in the lab. And there he is next to a beat. Oh, man, this is a half an hour ago. He's in Miami. That's for sure. And he's near a very nice lake. Not a lake. That's a pool, bro. That's a pool. Let's see. There he is with his girlfriend. And a picture in the mirror of the building. Yeah, okay. There you go, Davion. You go on then. You know, it was funny. Jameson called Davion Dave last night in the interview. It's like he's talking to Kayla, and he's like, "Yeah, Dave's been great." And I'm like, "Who's Dave?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, he means Davion." He's calling him Dave. I'm like, I've never heard somebody call Davion Mitchell Dave, which was kind of cool. There's another picture of him with his girlfriend at this is from the summertime. That's in Europe. That's not here. So yeah, he's showing that love for his girlfriend. I guess because he mentioned her on TV, he wants to show her off now. He's showing her on his Instagram this morning. And Norman Powell's been spotted. And understand the grind gear. And that's it for your Instagram stories. Took a little while there. There's a lot of TikTok on Instagram right now. A lot of TikTok on Instagram right there. Yeah, crazy. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying here. Let's see. We'll get all through the chat for sure. Monique's saying, let's keep climbing, Raptors. I'm about that. You know, this will be an interesting game against Miami tomorrow. You know, I want to win an in-season tournament game. We've lost the first two games, and they were both games that I thought were our best chances to win. Milwaukee was in a really bad place when we played them, but we actually helped them get out of the mud by giving them good feelings, and they've been doing way better since we played them in the in-season tournament. And then Detroit at home, we should have beat Detroit in our own building in the in-season tournament, but it wasn't to be. Now we're going to play Miami in Miami. This may be tougher, the toughest one. And then next Tuesday, we'll finish up our in-season tournament games in the first part against Indiana and Pascal, coming back to Scotiabank Arena for next Tuesday for our last in-season tournament game. And then as Matt and Jack were saying last night, we're going to go through like a homestand for the first part of December, but then they're going to tell us which two games are added to our schedule. They're the mystery games. And this is part of the in-season tournament phenomena. There's two regular season Raptors games that will be played in the middle of December that we have no idea where they are and who against. And we won't know until next week. So that's kind of a fun, interesting thing. It's like mystery games. We'll have to find out who they are in the middle of when they're doing the in-season tournament championship games. We have to have two games just to fill it out. And we'll have to see. Hopefully they're home games because I like these guys being more at home next month. We've been on the road so much this season. And having a bunch of home games to start December is really good, honestly, because there is a stark contrast between our home and road record. We're 500 at home and only one win on the road so far. So hopefully in the beginning of December, we can start doing what Monique's saying here. Let's keep climbing, Raptors, and get some more W's added into the win column. And the way the Eastern Conference is right now, we could actually move up just from having like 3 or 4 extra wins added in our column. We could move up in the Eastern Conference standings very quickly. That's so weird. It's just how it is this year. It's weird, man. Trevor J saying Murray Pelicans should be embarrassed by a disgusting home loss to the Raptors. No, that's sad. In some ways, I felt bad for those people. You know, I'm watching the game, and they're doing a really fancy city edition court that's celebrating Mardi Gras and the great traditions of the great city of New Orleans. That purple color is very, very synonymous with the city of New Orleans. And the bead colors and the way that the colors are and their parade that they do for Mardi Gras is very much those purple and the green and the yellow that they used for the court last night. So it's a very special city edition court once again. And, you know, they're all wearing these purple Pelican hats in the crowd. A lot of fans wearing them. And I was thinking, you know, guys, sometimes you need to see different teams in the league to understand and value just what you've got. In some ways, you know, being a Pelicans fan can't be easy. In the first place, that team name is kind of dumb. Let's be honest. Like, you know, do you want to root for a team that's called the Pelicans? Seriously. In some ways, that's not the ferocious Raptor. That's not like in some ways that's cool. And then they're wearing these weird beanies last night that I'm in some ways it's like that's kind of like dorky in some ways. I think that's cool that they have a fan base that's willing to wear those things and come to games and do that. And then, like I said earlier, they've been kind of jerked around the last couple of years by Zion, really. That they've been teased with really great, incredible stuff that could be possible, but because Zion just cannot stay healthy and be out there, it's just a dream. It's a mirage. And in some ways, what's happening with them and their record right now is so deflating and sad. The injuries have been a real problem for them for sure. And in some ways, this is not the year that the Pelicans are supposed to be having right now. They were supposed to come from last year and building what they did last year and being even better. That's why it's so deflating for teams like the Sixers, the Pelicans, and the Bucks to get off to such a horrible start this year. With us, it was understood we're rebuilding and we're going to suck. And we have one of the strongest, hardest schedules to start the season. Those teams don't have no excuse. Those teams are supposed to be top teams in the league, and they're not. They're bad. And that's scary. In some ways, that's much more worse and difficult to lose like that than it is the way we've been losing. Because there's excuses for why we're losing. These people, in some ways, it's like, man, it shouldn't be like this for them. So I feel bad for Pelicans Nation. I really do. Because they've been very teased with possibilities that just aren't coming to fruition. And a lot of it centers around Williamson, unfortunately. I feel bad for them. That the broadcast crew was like kind of really sad for the Pelicans by the end of the game. They were very kind of like, well, if we can't score any points, what are we supposed to do? Because they really did stall out in the third quarter. They couldn't score like the 905 couldn't score in the second quarter last night. They had what? Let me look at this real quick. They had like 14 points, 17 points in the third quarter, and we scored 31. And that's the Pelicans announcer said the Raptors dominated the Pelicans in the third quarter and busted the game wide open into a rout. In fact, at times in that quarter, we were up by 30 over them. We were messing them up, man. We were messing them up. Monique saying, don't get me wrong, 905 battled a bit, but mostly ugly. Yeah, not very clean, ethical basketball at times. And in some ways, it's like, you know what it is? I'll go look at their team stats real quick. I'll tell you exactly why they lost last night, Monique. It really was turnovers. They had 21 turnovers to 17 turnovers for the Celtics, and that's too many turnovers. 21 turnovers is too many. We shot 50%, so it wasn't really bad shooting, even though we didn't get any bench production, really. And the other team shot less than us and took less shots. Well, they got 14 threes, and we only made 9. So that's a big part of the difference. And they got to the line way more than twice than us. 16 free throws made to 9 by us. So 3-pointers, free throws, turnovers, Achilles heels for the 905 last night. Not making threes, not getting the free throw line, and causing too many turnovers for themselves. They only got out rebounded by 1 assist, 20 assists for the 905, 10 steals, 7 blocks, 21 turnovers. They did win the points in the paint, 70-56. Yeah, I think the turnovers and the lack of 3-point shots made by the 905 really, really killed them. Really, really killed them. Let's see. Trevor's saying Pelicans head coach Willie says we can't make a team come to our home and make us look soft. And Murray said the home crowd had the right to boo us. Yeah, in some ways they were talking about how there was a very full arena at Smoothie King Arena last night because it's the night before Thanksgiving. A lot of families have come to the city to enjoy family time for the holidays. And so there was a more packed arena. It's their arena last night than normal. New Orleans doesn't get the best attendance. In some ways, that's been always an issue with that city as an NBA city, is that there's a lot to do in New Orleans and there's a lot of distractions. And something is not high on the list as a marquee attraction as the Pelicans. And in some ways, them squandering such a great crowd that came in and them leaving early and booing them, that's too bad. I feel bad for that franchise. In some ways, I like that franchise a lot. And I wish that they could get it out of mud. I feel bad for them, though, right now. DeJounte Murray was interesting in his game last night. He came out and he was not right. He hadn't played hardly at all. I think this is like the first time he played for the Pelicans ever, right? Didn't he just show up for them this year? So he was not going to fit in completely because he's barely any time playing for them. And he came out and he was off rhythm. He was turning the ball over and missing all of his shots. But there was a little period of time late in the game where he hit 2 threes in a row, and I was like, okay, that's the DeJounte we know more. And then also, he was active in trying to disrupt the ball on our ball handlers at times. He caused a couple of turnovers with his normal steals. That's something he's been very good at in his NBA career, being one of the top 10 in steals usually every year. And well, we saw those signs of that, but let's not get it twisted. DeJounte Murray's been out. He just showed up for the first time. He's off rhythm. He's not connected. That was something that the Pelican announcers also talked about last night. Is these guys don't really know each other and they're not connected, and you can tell they don't play as a team, and they really don't have the bonds or things like we do with our team the way we're going right now. That it's really just a collection of individuals, and they're not playing as a team unit. The Pelicans. Yeah, that's a big part of it right there. Nako's saying, don't look now, but RJ outplayed Scotty. Super good game. Jacoby's going to be a stud when the shots start falling. Yeah, I'm excited about Jacoby. I think that his three-point shot is going to be the real test of how he's doing. And when that three-point shot's going in, he's unstoppable. And maybe if he's not making the three-point shot, maybe he's going to have harder games. I think he'll be that kind of player. I don't know. There's going to be a learning curve, and I'm going to allow Jacoby Walter to have his journey and what it's supposed to be as it goes on each spot. And, we'll see. We'll see the next time he gets to start again. Maybe he's starting again tomorrow against the Miami Heat because he did so well last night. That could very well be true. Let's see. You're saying RJ outplayed Scotty? Once again, this is not a competition, Gerald. And that's the kind of mindset that a lot of Raptors fans is toxic with, is to look at guys and compare them against each other. They're different players and they do different things, and they're going to have different outcomes on different nights. Just like Oshai had a different outcome last night than Monday. So I'm not comparing Scott to RJ, and I will not say that RJ outplayed Scotty. I will say that RJ was more efficient than Scotty, especially from shooting standpoint. But once again, this ops kind of comparing our players against each other and doing that's only derives bad energy on social media to start even talking like this, is what I say. Trevor's saying when RJ has the ball in his hand, the game looks more easier for players. He's just a top level player. I mean, we got to remember he's a third pick in the draft. He's a premium scorer that knows so many different ways to score. He's just very savvy. And now we're seeing more of his playmaking side, and it's been very fun. Very, very fun. In some ways, maybe they are listening to us. We went a little bit less through Jakob Poeltl last night, and we saw that he didn't really get his first points until very late in the game. And Coach Roach may have been smiling more because the ball was going more through Barrett and Barnes' hands as the hub than Poeltl was. And that was an issue that Coach Roach brought up on To The Point this week, that he'd like to see the ball go through those guys more than our big center, Jakob. And, well, we saw kind of what that looks like last night. Jakob is not as involved in the game in general. In fact, let's go do the rest of the Raptors in the box score. Jakob Poeltl, 31 minutes, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 at the free throw line. Yeah, he was in trouble for getting an offer for not scoring anything. But he did. He finally put in a little easy basket near the end. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block, plus 26. So this guy only scored 2 points, and he didn't even get double digits in rebounds, and he's still a plus 26 in 31 minutes. This is showing that he's very good in what he's doing, even if he doesn't get any stats. So, you know what? Jakob just took a back seat. And in some ways, if we're fully healthy with Emmanuel Quickley and Grady and Bruce Brown, in some ways, Jakob probably wouldn't be such a focal point like he has been this season if we came into this year fully healthy. That these other guys would eat up his shots, and we were only leaning on him in times when we had less of our more talented scorers available from the injury list. So, we got to look at that. Chris Boucher had a tough night, 0 for 4, 0 for 3 from 3. 2 rebounds, 0 points for Chris last night. So there, you only got 2 points from Jakob and Chris in this game last night, and it's a blowout for the Raptors. Think about that. In the last month of the season, Jakob and Chris have been 2 of the most steady, most important players for us this whole entire time, and they had off nights and only scored 2 points between the 2 of them. And we won. That's amazing. Bruno Fernando, 6 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 steal, 4 points, a -1. Yeah, in some ways, Bruno just in for a hot cup of coffee. He's active. He's running around. It's near the end of the game, and he's fine. He did okay. He was in there doing what he does. Mobo, 15 minutes, 2 of 4 from the field, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 4 points. He had a highlight dunk at one point, a breakaway dunk, and Scotty was all about it. seeing Jonathan get the steal, coming back the other way and throwing it down in transition. Yeah, they were all about it. The bench liked that. They were yelling. Garrett Temple got a hot cup of coffee coming back to one of his old haunts, New Orleans. They love Garrett Temple in New Orleans. He was an important part of their franchise. In some ways, he is an upstanding Pelicans alumni. 0 points for him, though, and only a steal and a garbage time at the end of the game. Davion Mitchell had a tough game. He was an 0 for also. He only played 15 minutes, 0 for 1 from the 3, and that's the only shot he took. 4 assists, 1 turnover, though. If that's the indicator we're going to look at with our point guards instead of the scoring and the shooting, the assist to turnover ratio 4-1 for Davion Mitchell. In some ways, he wasn't counted on as much. It's interesting. They listed Jacoby Walter as the point guard at the beginning of the game. I'm like, no, he's not the point guard in that formation. In some ways, the people that make the graphics for TSN and Sportsnet before the game, when you make the lineups, y'all have no rhyme or reason. And then sometimes I don't even understand what y'all are trying to do. Like, you're trying to shape minds on what the positions are. You guys don't really understand the positions. I can tell, because y'all put Jacoby Walter as the point guard last night in this lineup. No, last night the point guard was Scotty. In that formation of lineup, Scotty is the point guard. Jacoby Walter's number 2. RJ Barrett's the number 3. And then Oshai's the 3 or something, or maybe RJ's the 4. Those guys are interchangeable. But in any kind of situation last night, as far as with the point guard, it was obviously either Barrett or Barnes. And Jacoby Walter's the shooting guard. So y'all need to understand the roles of what they're going to play in the game when you designate what their position is in the starting lineup graphic before the game. And Jacoby Walter being put at point guard, that is a misnomer. That's a misnomer in some ways. Jamal Shett is a point guard, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover. So between Mitchell and Shedd, 8 assists, 2 turnovers, 8-2 or a 4-1 turnover assist to turnover ratio. Very good job by both of them, taking care of the ball and distributing, even if they didn't score any points. Jamal did have 8 points himself, though, in 15 minutes. So, yeah, not a whole lot of bench scoring for either team last night, 905 or the Raptors, carried by the starters. Both teams right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see what else you guys are saying. Monique is saying, believe in Jacoby. I like what Darko did. Jacoby wasn't shying away. I get it. It was the Pelicans. Hang on. It jumped ahead. I want to make sure I get that whole comment. Oh, no. Wow, you guys filled it up. Y'all definitely give me a cutoff. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm a little bit long-winded, and I do need to get through all the comments, and I will. I promise you. I'm going to start moving on them right now. I'm going to start running through them because, wow, there is a lot here. A lot here. Okay, believe in Jacoby. I like what Darko did. Jacoby wasn't shying away. I get it. It was the Pelicans. He will learn amazing game. You know, I was just surprised. That's all. In some ways, I'm glad I was wrong, and that it didn't burn us. That wasn't a problem that we started Jacoby last night. And you know what? I will have less doubt in him in the future. He's earned some trust with me. That's the best thing about it. Kareem saying, when battle squares up, them shoulders for a 3, I just scream layup. This dude is money, man. This dude is money. In some ways, he may be the best shooter out of all of them. He may be better than Grady, even in some ways. I mean, what a find. In some ways, like they said in the broadcast, this is why Masai and Bobby are so badass. Like this battle guy just coming in and doing what he's doing with us. Well, that's really good work. And that really values up our team from an unknown place. And we get a quality player undrafted like this that really looks like he has a very bright potential and future for the Raptors. This is fantastic. That's our front office. We should be proud of them. We should. Let's see. Mo's saying Maine killed us with their shooting, in my opinion. J.D. Davison is more of a leader and captain than anybody on our team right now. And in some ways, he's being the lightning rod of leadership for the Maine Celtics and guiding them to staying organized and getting to what they need to do. And it was shown right off the bat. He came out and he scored 5 points on us immediately at the beginning of the game, unanswered. And it's like, oh, J.D. Davison is outscoring the Raptors 905 by himself. It's 5-0 J.D. Davison. Not even the Celtics. That's a big part of the difference. If we had Shedd down there, it'd be way different. He'd be able to do more of this stuff for them, like Davison that I was just describing. It's too bad, man. It's too bad. Nako saying petition to give Battle a standard NBA contract. You don't even need to make a petition, Gerald. I think it's just inevitable. I think that the Raptors are going to realize what they're getting from him, and it's just necessary, and they're going to have to give him a standard contract. In some ways, this may have a domino effect that's beneficial for somebody else on the 905 getting the next two-way because of it. And we may need to start thinking about that because Jamison Battle may need to be a standard rookie contract very, very soon because we're going to run out of eligibility for him to play for the Raptors. Well, we're not even halfway through the season. And this dude's already ate up more than half of his games that he's allowed to play for the main squad. They're going to have to convert him. We don't need a petition. They're going to just have to. Kareem saying Darko didn't really call out Oshai, but Oshai took it personal. Once again, it's personal for me because how much I disliked him. But Oshai gets my player of the game. What a bounce back. You know, the cool thing is this is what Oshai said. This is all right out in the open. It's crazy because Darko said what he said after the game. Oshai said, I'm going to listen to my coach, and he's right, and I'm listening to him. But don't get it twisted. I'm my biggest critic, and I felt really bad about what I did on Monday, and I wanted to change that. So a lot of the motivation, and Darko even said this after the game last night, it's not what I said that made Oshai do this. This is the way he is, and he's holding himself accountable. And he's coming out and giving a better effort and output after an offer on Monday. So Darko will want to get a credit for the turnaround with Oshai. He's saying, no, don't give me credit for coaching him and getting him this. That's on him and making showing that I have responsibility for myself. That's what it is right there. That's what it is right there. Trevor's saying Battle looking like Grady out there. I don't know. In some ways, Battle is his own thing, man. It's crazy. Most saying, Kareem, question how expensive 905 food when going to a game, even though I normally eat at home before. I don't know. How expensive is the food at 905? I don't know. I'm probably very similar to the Scotiabank Arena in some ways. There may be some cheap stuff out there. I have no idea. We got to remember, we're going during the day. We're going to be out there at around 2 p.m. So maybe it's smart to eat lunch before you go out there, Monique, and then you'll have dinner afterwards. I mean, we didn't really plan anything outside of the game. And one of the reasons why I want to sit with you, Mo, is this is the whole point of going to this 905 game is we're going as a group to sit together. And if you're going out there and doing all the trouble to come out there, well, why don't we sit together is what I'm trying to say. Because I'll feel bad if we're all sitting in one section, you're at some other end of the court, and we're not anywhere near each other. So I feel like within reason, the 905 doesn't sell out and do all kinds of crazy stuff with their seats. It seems like there's open seats everywhere. We should be able to sit within proximity of you. If we're not able to do that for whatever reason, well, in some ways, I'm sad about that because the whole point of us going to this 905 game is for us to go and sit together. So it's like, why make the effort and go out there if we're not going to be able to sit together, Monique? That's what I'm trying to say because I'm not really planning anything outside of the game. It's not like we may do this, but it's not likely. Go and like have dinner afterwards or something like that. I don't think so. If we call an audible and we do that, maybe. But it's not very likely. And the time we're supposed to spend each other is in the game. So if we're not sitting near you, we're not actually spending the time with you. And that's why I was kind of like that. I'm sure the food may be a little bit less expensive than Scotiabank, but it's probably similar. We'll just put it that way. Kareem saying, Monique, it's not that bad, but I haven't been there since last year. Always better to eat something before entering the stadium with the possibility of just buying a drink or popcorn or nuts. Buying nuts? That's good advice. That's good advice. Monique saying, yes, Darko gets the credit too. Oshai gets the chain, of course. I love it. Yeah, it was really nice to see Oshai get the chain last night and spinning it. You know, in some ways, they could have given that chain to Jamison Battle. They could have given that chain to RJ. They could have given that chain to Jacoby Walter for a great first NBA career start. But no, Oshai Abaji got it. And that's fantastic. I love that. I love that so much. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. What a game. Battle, Oshai, and RJ did their thing. So proud of them. Special mention to Scotty as well. Yeah, Scotty's energy was great and cannot be overlooked. In some ways, he's doing yeoman's work, hard work, unspoken work, not necessarily stat work, energy work out there. And Scotty's doing all kinds of good stuff, all kinds of different ways. And some of the stuff that his growth has been in this season has more been in the defensive end this year. There's things that Scotty's growing on that have to do nothing with the dunks or shooting or three-pointers. This has to do with positioning and smarts on defense and helping on defense and being in the right place and being more of a force in those ways. And that, honestly, I'm seeing more growth from Scott on that end of the floor this year than anything right now. And that's really good. There's a good balance to it. his offensive side and defensive side of things right now. Yeah. Monique saying, Kareem, yeah, I was going to do that anyways. Thanks. Yeah, it's probably always best to try and eat before you go in, for sure. Kareem saying, let's not lose sight that the Raptors went 4 of 12 from the free throw line. Also, Scotty shouldn't be jacking up 12 threes either, but I'm just nitpicking. Yeah, I mean, those are nitpicks. But you know what? My nitpick about Scott with that is go inside and work your way out. He started the game clanking it off the front of the rim, and he should have made a high percentage shot inside before he started shooting all those up. That's part of the way you mess up your shooting percentage, Scott, is that you start outside, you start being lazy and just taking up threes from the outside instead of doing a little bit of hard work, getting some physicality down low and establishing paint presence. That will get you the can of open like easier, the can of worms open easier that you're going to get going in your game is if you get a high percentage shot within 15 feet of the basket. But no, Scotty wanted to jack up front end hitting threes last night to start his game up and sewer his shooting percentage right off the bat of the game. Oh, man. G saying it takes great humility to show growth and coach ability like Oshai did. Coachability. Darko didn't say anything crazy, but the internet ran with it, and he could have had an ego about it. Instead, he got to work. You know, this is a characteristic of mentality. And in some ways, Oshai has the right mentality as a professional. In some ways, the ego gets taken out of it to a certain extent. You're not perfect. You're not just a badass. You're not LeBron James. You know, you can't carry yourself like that. A lot of NBA players, the youngsters that have not done jack shit, carry themselves like this. And they're kind of like, oh, I'm above reproach. I cannot be criticized. No, I'm too good. I've been good my whole time. They told me in AAU. They told me in college. I'm just the best. I'm the fucking shit's meow or whatever. The cat's meow. But in some ways, this isn't true. And players need to be criticized to be better. And some players just can't take criticism anymore. Oshai can take criticism, and that's the kind of player I want on my team. There's other players in this league that cannot take criticism, and they do not ever grow as players or get better and better. And that's a sign. That's important that you have to have coachability and an ego that can accept constructive criticism and listen to it and actually use it. That's important. Yeah. Monique's saying nitpicking is okay, just not a lot. Yeah. Just a little nitpicking is okay, Kareem. It's fine. A little nitpicking. And in some ways, Scott still got a star of the game. Carlos saying, morning, Lex and fellow freaks. Feels good. Win after win. Feels win after win. Yeah, it's just nice. Thank you, Pelicans, for helping us get out of the Ofer and the road record. We needed a road win, and thank you. Oh, my gosh. You know, in some ways, part of the reason why we needed that win last night is we didn't want to get in the record books for a Raptors franchise records for the longest road losing streak in the history of our team. And we were in danger of that. Seriously. In the next couple of games, if we had not won a road game at a certain point, we were going to break that record. And we don't want to break those kind of records for our team, even if we're playing really bad. And some people think we're a tank team. But no, we don't want to break that record. No, it was a very good win. Very nice win, for sure. Good to see Smooth. Nago saying Oshai was lights out. That's for sure. Fiercely saying today is my daughter's birthday. She is 16. Happy birthday to Fiercely Salsera Jr. You are a badass. Keep doing what you do and playing your basketball and excelling in life in all facets. Happy birthday, Fiercely Jr. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Kareem saying Shed's knock was his shooting. He's slowly killing that narrative. Well, this is what I'm saying. He's heard the criticism, the constructive criticism. He knows. He's honest with himself. He knows that his three-point shooting could be better. He knows that he could stop turning the ball over by lofting the ball too high on his passes, maybe put a little more zip on some passes that don't get picked off in passing lanes. He's looking at it all, and he's trying to get better. That's the kind of player I want on my team. And Shed is really coming at it head first after the three-point stuff, and he's showing much better outcomes with his three-point shooting in recent games. That's for sure. I like it. Fiercely saying, Lex, Holes has a two-way contract on the team. Who else has a two-way contract on the team? Well, Carton and Shamshay. And those guys don't really have a chance of getting converted unless DJ Carton gets healthy and he's absolutely crazy down there and he comes up on the main squad or something like that. But even then, there's no necessary reason. We've been saving DJ Carton's main squad games. He has 50 of them. And think about how many times he suited up to play for the Raptors this year. He's barely done it. He's maybe suited up maybe 2 or 3 times. And that means he's got like 40 something games still eligible. And in the second half of the season, you may see more DJ Carton on the main squad at that time. But what happens with the inverse? If Jamison Battle's eaten up all of his games and he has like 20 of them out of the way already, at some point you got to make that decision. Convert him to a standard contract, and then you have a two-way you can put in front of other people to compete for and maybe make it to the big squad. In fact, I may say Eugene Omoruyi should be the next two-way after this, just for more solid size in our depth chart that can be accessed by the main squad. Is that maybe, you convert Jamison Battle to a standard contract, and Eugene Omoruyi is the third two-way contract after that. That's what I would look at that. Yeah, I agree. Converting him would make sense later in the season if necessary, stepping up and playing so smart. It may not even be later in the season because, like I said, he's playing almost every game, and he only gets 50 games with the main squad. At a certain point, they may be like, yeah, we're just going to convert him because we want him all year. And if we do have a postseason, we definitely want him available for that. We definitely want available for that. Happy birthday to Junior Eye Candy. Okay, that may not be appropriate for a young lady who's turning 16 today, Kareem, just so you know. Let's see. Carlos saying, I see a change in Jamal's shot. It looks smoother now. Yeah, hopefully Evo's shooting coach is working with him. Evo. Hopefully he's working with him just like he works with Jacoby and Grady and getting Jamal's shot more on point and looking better. Maybe a higher arc so it's not hitting the front of the rim. Getting it up a little higher over the rim. And yeah, it's smooth. It is looking smoother. It's for sure. Fiercely saying Pelicans are currently broken. I don't even think Jonas's presence on their team would have helped. Well, thank God Jonas got out of there. In some ways, he's like, I wouldn't have said going to Washington was a better option for this guy in this situation. But yeah, it's true. It is actually a better option. Yeah, I feel bad for the Pelicans. They're in a weird place. And like they were saying on the broadcast, after this year, it's very interesting what Matt Devlin said about Zion Williamson's contract, that he hasn't hit a certain amount of games played, that they can nullify his contract and just cut him after this season. Now, he may be very enticing to other teams to try and scoop up and Seagull onto their team in certain ways, but they have to be cautious about this. And what would be the numbers on that and everything like that? In some ways, just like Ben Simmons has a reckoning coming with his contract situation as far as what he should expect to get paid for what he's providing as a player in availability. Zion Williamson should have very grave concerns about this also. I mean, it's crazy. This dude is such a high-level player and a high draft pick, and he may be out of the league way earlier than he should just because of this stupid shit. And it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, Shy. Oh, my. All right, Mike. Project Truth. Always, Mike. Logical Raptors fanatic. That's right. Oh, Shy. Oh, my. That's right. Fiercely saying, who else has a two-way contract? Misspelled. Yeah, that's that. I went over that. Nako's saying, for what it's worth, Battle has had more impact than Carlson. Yes. And this is why I don't question Bobby and Masai. Even if you think Brendan Carlson is this and that, understand there's a lot more to it that you don't know. And some of it is maybe meshing with teammates. Some of it is the stuff that I was critical about Carlson as far as he can't hold any ground as a big man underneath the basket and holding the paint. He can just get pushed around. Jamison Battle was the right decision, and I'm so glad they did it. And also they'll say, well, what about Fernando? They should have cut him and kept Battle and Carlson. No, they couldn't do that. In some ways, that's not the same move, y'all. It's not the same move. Fernando has been very useful. Trust me, this season. You see, he's a steady veteran big that can actually hold a presence on the court against other bigs. After Jakob and Scotty, there's not many people on our team that have that. And in some ways, Fernando was absolutely essential for this year. Even if he's not flashy, he's not always perfect. Is essential just for the personnel qualities that he does on the court as far as strength and size. And that was the right move. It's the right move. I'm not second guessing Carlson being on Oklahoma City Blue all of a sudden. No, other Raptors fans could look at that and say, oh, Masai fail. They lost Carlson. No, Masai win. He's kept Battle. That's what you should be saying. Masai win. He's kept Battle. That's right. Fiercey saying thank you to Kareem for the birthday wishes for Fiercey Jr. That's right. G saying I'm torn with Scotty's threes. Will these many reps lead to him becoming a sniper? Did he get the green light from Darko during a development year? I think Scotty has what it takes to become a threat. I think so too. I mean, Scotty really idolizes Steph Curry. He really does. He really likes Steph Curry a lot, and if he can be more like Steph Curry, he would be, and he might want to, seriously. I don't know. The way he shoots with certain confidence sometimes, if he's on, boy, is he money. He can make them over and over again. But if he's like last night, he may take a lot of volume and it'd be a problem. Against the Pelicans, this wasn't as big of a deal. But yeah, Darko is given the green light. He said it right out front in the interview last night. He said, I love how much they shot threes tonight. This has been different. And you know what? I want Scotty to shoot as much as possible. So Darko is giving him the green light and the thumbs up. So, stuff that Scott did last night was not to the chagrin of our coach. He liked it, and he wants him to do this more. So just be ready for it. Some way, Scott, lift your arc so you get it over the front of the rim. That's what you got to do right there. That's right. Let's see. Andrew saying, morning, folks. Man, what a game for the guys. Jacoby was amazing in his first start. Jamison and O'Shea are snipers from the corners. Yeah, Jacoby just showed poise. I'm really, really happy about that. There were no rookie jitters. In some ways, he got after it. He was very confident. And like with his skills that he has as a player that he's built up as a youngster, then he was showing them. And he's showing the benefits and the things that he can bring that add to helping us win. And that's what's going to keep him in the rotation and possibly even starting still. So we'll have to see. If he starts hitting his threes at like a almost 40% clip, yeah, it'll be undeniable. This dude needs to be playing. In some ways, Grady may need to be worried a little bit. In some ways, Grady may need to actually really get healthy because in some ways, Grady does look like a really nice off the bench 3-point sniper from our bench, like a Sam Hauser. But they've been saying that about Jamison Battle being that. But if Jacoby is like adding more in an athletic way with scoring and certain things, I don't know. There could be a positional battle for the fifth starter spot on this team. And don't forget, O'Shea could be involved in this too. If we're having full health with Emmanuel back, and we got to figure out who's going to start with the barbecue yak. What is it going to be? Is it going to be a Jacoby flavor, a Grady flavor? Wait, I wouldn't say Dick flavor. That's not right. Or an O'Shea flavor. We got to figure out that seasoning for that barbecue yak. That's what I'm saying, man. Let's see. La, 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 la. Yeah. We keep saying Scotty has amazing passing abilities, but RJ is also solid in that department. I think there's a lot of Raptors. There's a laundry list of Toronto Raptors right now that are excellent passers, and we're seeing it all kinds of different which ways, and I love it. I love it so much. I love a very passing-oriented team because the teamwork just gets more synergized. The players play more for each other, and they trust each other more. There was not a lot of trust on the other side of the court last night for the Pelicans, and that's just how it is. Connection is important in the NBA, and if there's no connection, well, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. Kareem saying at G, I think Scotty can do everything on the court, but if you are not efficient from three, then you got to just take matters into your own hands and draw fouls, and get bunnies. Yeah, in some ways he needs to understand, maybe not like after jacking 5 threes and missing all of them, that maybe you need to switch it up. That's nitpicking for me right now on him. It's like, Scott, you missed your first 3 threes. Maybe not take the 4th one and take it inside. Mix it up a little bit. Come on now. Nako's saying, I'd rather Scotty drive, but the modern NBA demands threes. Yeah, it does and it doesn't. I don't know. And they talked about this a bit last night. It's like, this is the trend. Is this the NBA to stay like this? I don't know. We'll have to see. The NBA is always evolving. And, people like Wemby could have a very big impact, just like Steph Curry did 10 years ago, and making this league more 3-point oriented. I mean, we just have to see the natural progression of the league and what's going to happen with the personnel and the talent at the top of it, and what that dictates for how the league looks and what we're doing. Once again, all 30 teams can't have the exact same playbook. So everybody wants us to be a carbon copy of the Warriors. Get over yourself. We got to do things the way we got with our personnel and our coach and what we're doing. And we should have our own signature style. And I love it so far. The Darko system's fantastic. And I want to see more and more of it when we're healthy and with full talent capacity. That's what I want to see. Mischief saying, good morning to the baseman, by the way. I love your stars. Jamison Battle did a good job filling in for Grady Dick's injury. Walter with his first double-double of his career, looking more like a first-rounder. That's what I'm saying. Jacoby Walter looks like a first-round NBA player. And that's the difference between him and those other guys. And maybe while he has more of a clear path to get to the starting lineup that quickly. In some ways, they really like Jacoby, and I'm really liking him too this morning after last night. That's right. G saying Bleacher Report scored the Raptors rookies as a C minus and Walter as a dud. Shaking my head. Well, once again, ESPN, Bleacher Report, NBA in general, we can't look at their rankings or their opinions because they downgrade us and give us the Canadian discount every single time. In some ways, they're disregarding RJ at this point. You go ahead and not pay attention to RJ. RJ's going to kill you in games, and you don't even have to give him any shine. Yeah, they're absolutely wrong about our draft class. And I think, once again, the Raptors are going to look real good in the years to come, like they did the year they drafted Pascal Siakam and Jakob Poeltl, and they got Fred VanVleet undrafted. That year was a boon year for the Raptors as far as a rookie class. Well, this year is just like that one. And in the years to come, like 4 or 5 years from now, everybody's going to say, holy shit, look at who the Raptors got in the 2024 draft year. That is insane. They got Shed, Mobo, and Walter all in the same, and Battle. Yeah, they're going to be saying that. And Shamshay? What? What were the Raptors doing? They were cooking that summer. Oh, yeah, they were cooking. They're going to say this in 5 years. And we'll come back. Give them the receipts. Bleacher Report. C minus? Really? C minus? You know what? I give your ratings F. F. You are F as reviewers and raters. Bleacher Report. We can all do these stupid little grading things. I'm a great job, Bleacher Report. F minus. You failed. You got a 0%, bro. Fiercely saying, how could I forget Jacoby on his first start? Very good display, and I saw great glimpses of athleticism. I was pleasantly impressed. Good for him. Yeah, me too, man. I'm so much happier that he didn't fail, that he came out and he showed excellence, and he makes us want to see more of him, and we have more to discover with him. And let's see what the ups and downs are for Jacoby Walter. Is he going to have the kind of career like Gary Trent Jr., where it's inconsistent and every other game? With some games he's really good. I don't know. That's what we have to learn. We have to learn about him and his player profile and his player build and what he's going to contribute to the Raptors and what we can expect from him. In some ways, he's been the most enigma of all the rookies in some ways because we just haven't seen him because he's of his shoulder. And now we're seeing him. We're starting to get more discovery of what's going on here. That's right. How much we can depend on him. Andrew saying, I don't care that Scotty only made 2 threes. I'm just happy he took 12. And Darko is too. So if you're happy, the coach is happy too. That's good. A convincing win. Well, honestly, this game was over in the third quarter when the Pelicans waved the white flag and just weren't a team that was potent enough to even score. I mean, it was pretty pathetic what happened with them in the second half. And it's true what our broadcast team was saying. They just don't have the personnel. They run out of gas. They're playing like their bench guys as their starters, and there's no bench after that. This is what happens. There's levels to everything in this league. And the fact that the Raptors have been losing close games against top teams but still have the record that they have will shows that the level's different for that than the level where the Pelicans are right now. So that sometimes you just need a perspective a little bit below you to see, okay, yeah, we're good. We're in good shape right now. Sometimes people go to AA meetings just to feel better about themselves because they hear other people in AA talk about how shitty their lives. And they're like, oh, man, at least I don't have my life as shitty as them. That's kind of what happened here. We went to AA meeting last night, and we heard a worse alcoholic in the room sitting across from us talking about where they're going through right now. And we're like, man, I have gratitude. Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad we aren't dealing with what they're dealing with. Holy crap. Holy crap. That is a really key way that those rooms can help you and get yourself out of your own, poor me, poor me. Well, you go and you listen to somebody else say, poor me. And then you're like, holy crap, I don't have problems in my life after what I just heard from this person in this room. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the rooms will help you if you need that help. Go get them. Go find them if you need it. You need it, you go get it. That's right. That's right. Convincing win. That's right. G saying at Kareem, that's why I'm torn. Would rather he drive, but what better year to get in game reps from threes so he can find a balance next year. If he can get his efficiency up, he will be a 3-level threat. I think on the down low he already is this. I think he's shown enough consistency last year in the increase of making a higher percentage and more volume of threes that he's getting this notoriety already. And I think what happened was last night was a specific game where he read the opponent and the situation, and he felt more okay with taking a lot of threes like this. It may very well be the situation was conducive for it. Now, if he's going to play the Celtics, you think he's going to try and do those threes like that over and over again and keep missing them? No. In this situation, because it's the Pelicans, he could probably get away with it more. And it's not frowned upon. So I think that is a big factor in Scotty's three-point shooting and how he's doing it last night. Is it the game opponent? Yeah. Let's see. Nako saying, I'm so impressed with Jacoby's hustle and IQ. Me too. That's something that I really love about the guys that we've drafted. All of them. They have very high IQ basketball. They're fundamentally good. They're making good decisions. They're very lessened the rookie mistakes. And there's just a really strong get after it and enthusiasm to want to work and get better. And they are all doing it. They're all doing it. All five of them. Shamshay even on the lower level. It's fantastic. It's so good. Andrew saying Scotty's got to go 2 of 12 before he goes 8 of 12 eventually. I'm glad he didn't get discouraged after missing the first few. I mean, what is he going to do? He's going to keep shooting. I would have liked him to mix it up a little bit more. Maybe every other shot outside, go inside, go outside, go inside, go outside. Mix it up. Mix it up. That's what I'm saying. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Kudos to our rookie, Jacoby Walter. And kudos to our rookie, Jamison Battle. Come on now. Come on. We can't overlook what that guy did. Oh, my gosh. Fiercely saying, DeJounte Murray took many bad shots. Doubt he's fully healthy. Well, I hope this justifies his shooting. He also doesn't mesh with the rest of the team. Very to himself. Maybe a better fit with Atlanta. I thought that move was weird. I think that move, there's something weird with DeJounte Murray. He was exiled from San Antonio. They didn't value him at a high-level, talented player. And they were like, yeah, send him to Atlanta. Now Atlanta's done with him too. There's something fishy about him. Yeah, New Orleans is definitely not meshed together. Definitely not meshed. And it's not just DeJounte. Trust me. Andrew saying, I like how Jacoby makes a defensive impact as well. Yes. He's a very irritating guy. And he fits really well with that band of brothers of Shed, Davion, and Oshai and Grady being annoying on the outside and being very annoying. One of the things about Jacoby is Jacoby's not super tall. He's like 6'5", but he has a really long wingspan for his height. And he has a deceiving, steals arms and hands. Very strong hands and good hands to get in there and steal balls and take them. There's been games where I've seen him go for a rebound. The other team gets the rebound, but he wrenches it out of their hands and steals it for us. That's the stuff I like. That's some of the stuff that's different and very, very cool. I like that stuff. Nako saying, don't let Scotty's poor shooting distract us from his winning basketball. Still, he had a real good game, and the team 40% from 30 ain't bad still. Yeah, all right, let's look at this team stats since you cued me to that. And we'll go over the team stats for the Raptors game. We did the team stats for the 905 game already. Yeah, the Raptors shot 50% overall in the game last night, 47 of 95. And the other team shot 39%. They were really bad. We made 21 threes last night, 52 shots, 40% from three. That's fantastic. Maybe more volume means more efficiency. Maybe it's, I don't know, the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken. Is it take the shots because you're making them so much you shot more? Or is it because you shot so much you made more? I don't know. What is it? Chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken? Either way, I'm very interested in trying to discover more about shooting way more threes with this team. I think I'd be more happy doing it with a squad that has Grady Dick and Emmanuel Quickly healthy in it. That would be more safer for the percentage just in case. But yeah, that's fantastic. And they only made 11 threes. So that was a big difference, having 10 more made threes than them. That's not often us. That's usually the other teams made 10 more threes than us. And we did that last night. We shot 4 of 12 from the free throw line. And we can't even be mad at that right now. Nobody was saying nothing about this because it's a blowout for the Raptors, and they shot 33% at the free throw line. They shot the worst percentage of all the percentages at the free throw line last night. 4 of 12? What is going on there, man? What's going on there? Is there ladies at the sidelines trying to get beads? Woo! Woo! Mardi Gras. Is that what was going on last night, Raptors? Why were you missing so many free throws? Was there some bead getting going on like they do on Basin Street or on Mardi Gras? Yeah, is that what was going on down there? Y'all were getting distracted by headlights or something like that? I don't know what's going on. They don't have that there. It's a family environment, Lex. What are you talking about? 52 rebounds for the Raptors to 47 for the Pelicans. That's pretty good. Missy is on the other team. 38 assists for the Raptors. So that's fantastic. 38 assists. Once again, that's a really, really good high number of assists. sharing the ball. That's a real team right there. That's a real team, and that's a difference. 11 steals, fantastic. We limited the turnovers, kind of 16 turnovers. Could have been a little better, but it wasn't too bad either. Points in the paint, even at 50 and 50. And the refs called the exact amount of sane fouls for both sides, 16 and 16. Refs were fine. We looked at the refs last night. They weren't a huge factor. Pat Frere, very matter of fact, very matter of fact. And the way he handled the challenges, very just on the point, on book, exactly how they were supposed to be. They called an out of bounds on us, and Darko called them out for it. And they went and watched it and said it's undeniable that the Pelicans, DeJounte Murray hit the ball out of bounds, Raptors ball, successful challenge, and they keep their timeout. And then, wing, he gets feedback. Oh, so Pat Frere gets some feedback, some Frere feedback. Wing. That was funny. And Sean Corbin, you're a great 30-year ref. I seen you calling things very down the line last night, and I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you and your longevity in the league and the things that you've done. And you know what? Sometimes I'm not a big fan of you, but last night you were right down the line. I appreciate you, Sean Corbin. I do. I had to mention our refs a little bit and what was going on right there. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying, in case anyone cares, the Sixers lost to the Rockets last night, and they've lost once again. Yeah, they're going to fall behind us deeper and deeper into the bottom of the Eastern Conference as we rise and getting more wins now. And I don't know, when is the Cavalry coming to save the Sixers and Nick Nurse? I don't know if it is. Joel's the Cavalry. And I don't know how much he really wants to come and be the Cavalry to save them. Yeah, it's very interesting. If you told me at the beginning of the season the Raptors would have a better record than the Sixers and they're 5-14, I would laugh at you. But the fact that this is the truth and that the Raptors aren't at the bottom of the Atlantic Division right now, ooh, it's so nice. I don't like seeing us at the very bottom of the Atlantic Division. And seeing old butthole face and big dummy and B down there, it warms my heart, to be honest. It really does. It warms my heart. That's right. That part. That's right. Laughing. Andrew saying, if the Sixers somehow get the first pick, I'm going to be so upset. Well, it's probably some sort of weird situation because of trades that they don't have the rights to their first pick. I don't see the Sixers getting the first pick. If there's some sort of weird roundabout tank this season going all of a sudden, yeah, it doesn't go well like this. I mean, seriously, Nick looks so irritated and tortured right now. And this is not good for team building. This is similar to the process before where they're going to try and get people like Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons. Well, that'll be what it is. Once again, Andrew. So I wouldn't be worried about this. Seriously. It's not like the Sixers have a good track record in their process. And even if they lose on purpose, well, what are they doing? They're building a culture of losing with their team right now. And that may be more detrimental and toxic and harmful to their franchise over the next couple of years, just like the shit they did a few years ago to try and land top picks by doing the process of tanking. Yeah, I let them try that. It'll backfire. Maybe they'll be like Detroit, and they'll get like the 6th pick, even if they're the worst team in the league. Let's see, Seymour, that part. That's right. Logical saying Philly fans are talking Maxey McCain rebuild. They just signed Paul George for 5 years and Embiid the same. And Mike's saying, like, this is funny. These guys just want to disregard these injured guys, Paul George and Joel Embiid, and they just want to move on to the new era of McCain and Maxey. But yeah, you're in with them. You're in the bed with them. And honestly, these guys, I mean, you might probably be able to move Embiid, and you could probably move George, but we'll see. In some ways, this is a weird situation for Philadelphia. You kind of made your bed. You got to lie in it. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Same thing for New York. Y'all made your bed. You got to lie in it. And you're out of things like the Giannis and Joel sweepstakes in some ways because you've traded all your assets away and shot your shot in getting Bodega Cat and Mikal Bridges this summer. So, yeah, man, they're in trouble, man. They're in trouble, bro. Nako saying, bro, I'd feel so bad for Cooper Flagg to go the Sixers dumpster fire. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. And in some ways, it's like, let's not even talk this kind of stupid shit into existence. Is there some sort of diabolical plan by Daryl Morey to capture the flag this year? Well, I hope he fails. Andrew's saying it's a 1 through 6 protected. Imagine they get the 7th pick and they have to give it to OKC. That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of the fun stuff. In some ways, these trades were superstars and the way they give up first round picks and go in different ways. In some ways, we saw it with the Jakob thing. And last year with San Antonio for us. Well, this is going to happen way more this year coming up because there's a lot of teams doing bad that we didn't think would be doing bad. And there's a lot of teams that are doing well that we didn't think would do well. And it's very likely that a playoff team is going to have a lottery pick because of this situation. And that'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. like that, man. That's crazy, man. Let's see. Seymour saying makes sense. He's from Maine, so Philly is close to home. Fuck Philly. Yeah, I don't. Let's not even talk about the Sixers capturing the flag. That's not likely. Let's just put it that way. The Sixers fans are not going to be able to take the season like this the whole time, and at some point, Embiid's going to show up, and they're going to win more games, and they'll probably end up being a mediocre team in the middle and not totally. I don't think they're waving the white flag on their season all together right now. In some ways, there's way too much of the season still. And in some ways, they could, the way the Eastern Conference is, they could make waves and still do something by the end of the year and be in the postseason. So I don't know if this is likely. Y'all are jumping to conclusions here. Yeah. Let's see. Nako saying, I'm pretty sure Shed hasn't started. Yeah, because most of the games, Davion would start instead. So that may be right. That may be right. Fiercely saying, before the game, we saw Garrett Temple talking with Jacoby and sharing tips. He really is a great presence on the team. No shade to Thad Young or Otto Porter Jr. Yeah, he's a different level of it. I think that him and Thad are the most like each other. Otto was kind of just there. I don't know how much Otto was actually doing to help our team. But Thaddeus was definitely doing things to help. And Garrett takes it to another level in some ways. In some ways, he really does. Like, I love it. I mean, in some ways, Garrett Temple is trying to set up his career after playing because it could very well be that he's not playing soon in the next few years. Honestly, in some ways, everybody's shocked he's still in the league right now. Much like Danny Green showing up recently, he's doing Spurs broadcasts now as a commentator, and he's doing phenomenal. Danny Green has been calling Spurs games, and the Spurs fans love it. He's been calling it like he's smart. He's calling the team we, and he's calling it from the perspective that he's Spurs alumni, and he's with the Spurs to win. And, he, as a champion Spur, as long with being a champion Raptor and a champion Laker, he can have allegiances to different teams, just like Matt Bonner called Spurs games for many years, and now he's with us on the Raptor show with Blake Murphy and calling games, or not calling games, but in the in-season, in studio with Sherman Hamilton. Danny Green at some point may do games for San Antonio and eventually come up here and be around our broadcast crews for our games and be calling it as a former Raptors champion too. So I'm not surprised by Danny Green being a fantastic broadcaster. He has a degree in communication, and we've heard him and Harrison Sanford do that fantastic podcast Inside the Green Room. And he's just got a presence. He's a very, very well-spoken person. He's got the personality, and he's also got so much experience in the NBA. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by this. I think Garrett Temple will be just as good as an announcer and on broadcast also, having heard him also do it before too. Yeah, let's keep going. Andrew said, I will always hate the Sixers. It still pains me that Kyle plays for them. Laugh out loud. Well, at least he's not enjoying it. How about that? Does that make you feel better, Andrew, that Kyle Lowry is not enjoying playing for the Sixers, at least? In some ways, the danger of him and Nick doing something and accomplishing something in Philadelphia that would mirror what they did in Toronto is not really looking very feasible for this year. And that makes me happy too. So, let's take it all in light. Kyle Lowry had a dream to play for his hometown team, Philadelphia, and he's fulfilling it now. And that's all I want for him right there. And that's all I want for him. I don't want any further than that. G saying the 76-year-olds are stuck in a nursing home. Gee, that's funny. Smooth saying, I never thought the Sixers would be this bad. Wow, they stink. Yeah. Yeah, Nick Nurse in some ways is not the kind of coach that'll get you out of a hole. We learned this in some ways. He's not very good at getting a team out of a hole. No, that he's not. Nako saying the Clippers won the Paul George signing. They won this one. They didn't win the first one. That's for damn sure. And it's funny how classy SGA is about the questions that get asked this. And he says this, whenever somebody asks him about the Paul George trade for him and leaving the Clippers, he says, I like to think that Oklahoma City won that deal. Yeah. I think that Oklahoma City won that deal, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Yeah, I think they did. I think they won that one. I think they won that one for sure. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's see. Is Bruce playing next game? I think he probably will play tomorrow. If he's going to come back on this road trip, well, this is his last chance. And why not an NBA Cup game where he can add to things? We'll have to see. Though. Nothing's guaranteed. I hope he does, though. I want him to come back as soon as possible. Kareem saying Davion is in a funk. Also, Darko cut his minutes in half. Doghouse. I don't know if I would call it a doghouse. Once again, he's getting to play. Doghouse means you don't even get to play. Like you're on the bench and you're DMP. That's more a doghouse. It's just his rotational minutes have been cut. He's gone from starter. He's gone to now kind of like not playing as much. And it's just how it is. Jacoby came in and took more minutes. People get healthy and they come back. Minutes are ate up by people like Scotty and Emmanuel. So I think it's just part of it. I don't know if I'd call him being in the doghouse. I call it his rotational minutes have been cut, but he's still in the rotation. He's still in the rotation. Fiercely saying, Nako, absolutely. Clippers fans are so relieved he's gone, and they see Harden contributes way more to winning without Paul George, Kawhi, and Russ. Yeah, Harden's weird, man. His career has been getting more and more respect from me as far as his playmaking and being better teammate and doing things to help his team win from his days in Houston and Brooklyn. He's really changed in Philadelphia, and it's good. He's good. He's gotten to this point. Yeah, the Clippers are weird, man. The Clippers are very weird. Smooth saying they are going through their good streak now. By season's end, they will have 37 wins. Yeah, I don't totally believe in the legs of the Clippers partly because the legs of Kawhi Leonard are not running up and down the court, and they're not designated to be back anytime soon. In some ways, the Clippers have done a lot so far this year to compete. Norman Powell, exemplary, but I don't know how they can sustain this without getting that bonus of Kawhi coming back. We'll have to see if Kawhi does get healthy, but it doesn't sound like he's anywhere near being healthy to play this year. It doesn't sound like it at all, honestly. In fact, Kawhi Leonard's NBA career may be in jeopardy right now, guys. They may very well be on the down low. Andrew's saying Davion is a good defender and puts pressure on the ball, but he's so limited offensively. I'm glad we started Jacoby over him. And it wasn't even Davion that I wanted to start because I was okay with taking him out of the start. I want to start at Battle or Mobo. Seriously. And even Boucher. I was thinking about maybe you start Boucher. But I just didn't think it was in the realm of possibility. I hadn't even really thought that, okay, you might start Jacoby. And that's why I was so shocked about it. It wasn't something that I was like mad at or anything. It's just like I'm so surprised that he's starting Jacoby this soon, especially since he hasn't had even any rotational games off the bench with the big club since the beginning of November. He got thrown in the deep end. He really did last night. It was very, very good. Very good because he swam very well. Very, very well. G saying, I'm high on efficiency, but efficiency needs context too. First options that also facilitate have a tough task and exert more energy and are defended more. Yeah, and the presence of Scott out there is drawing so much. And in fact, the success of some of the shooters around him is because Scotty's drawing so much attention. Jamison Battle and Ochai Agbaji get more cleaner open shots because everybody's paying attention to Scotty. And that's a big factor in what you're saying there, too. So I'll get behind that. Mike's saying, I heard a story about Garrett Temple when someone was talking about the Philly locker leak. Temple and another player went fist fight in the locker room, and everyone said not to say anything, but it leaked. What? Mike, I'm not totally understanding your comment. It's not totally clear. I know about the Philadelphia locker leak or something like that. I don't know the full story. In some ways, I'm guessing it's Joel Embiid saying he was not going to play every game or something. Or maybe they're talking about how there was an argument or like Maxey called him out and that wasn't supposed to come out publicly, that Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid in a player meeting or Lowry called the meeting. Maybe that's the stuff that's leaked. I don't know exactly what the leak is, so I can't opine on that. Now, the story about Temple and another player got in a fist fight in the locker room and everybody said not to say anything about it. I want to know more about this, Mike. You may need to tell me more about what you're talking about here because it's not totally clear, and I don't know the story. Seymour saying, salute to West Virginia Mountaineers taking down number 3 Gonzaga Bulldogs. Great game. I'm already scouting. There you go. Well, that makes Kelly Olynyk unhappy, being the Gonzaga Bulldog himself. But, hey, West Virginia, okay then. You go on them, Mountaineers. Nako saying, RJ is also asked to facilitate. Oh, yeah, he is. He got the double digits, and he was the leader in assists last night. So he must be doing something with facilitation. That's right. Fiercely saying that Mike, fist fight during his Raptors tenure or former team. See, it's just not clear, Mike. You got to elaborate more. You're giving us like one jigsaw puzzle. Give us the piece, more pieces. We need more of the puzzle than just one piece. And we have questions. The fist fight with not on our team. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on our team. Fiercely. I'm pretty sure it was on another team. Former team a long time ago. That's what Mike's saying. Okay. Yeah, that who knows? He may have been very young in his career at that point. Monique's saying, yeah, having Keith Pelly at 9:05 game was amazing. You know, it's weird because normally I would supersede listening to Matt and Jack call the game for the Raptors over the 9:05 broadcast. And in fact, when that switch came on, during both games being on, I turned off Matt Cullen and the audio from that game and listened to Matt and Jack once the Raptors game started. But when I saw a gray-haired man with glasses sitting in between them, I was like, holy crap, that's Keith Pelly. And it's like, I need to hear what he's saying. I need to hear what he's saying. So I muted Matt and Jack at that moment and had to listen to the whole entire Keith Pelly section because it was so illuminating. And in some ways, it put a lot of my fears to rest as far as his role in the MLSE and how he looks at the teams. In some ways, he sounds like he's going to be very beneficial in helping us in what we're doing. And he does value people like Masai and Darko, I can tell. So in some ways, we're worried about this transition of power with the new ownership group, with Rodgers owning the team now, basically. And, it's a little shaky and edgy, especially if Larry Tannenbaum's going off the sunset. We want to have people in charge that are going to be looking out for our team and helping it to succeed and be the best. And everything Keith Pelly said last night is right in line with the things I want to hear from the CEO of MLSE. Yeah, in some ways, I like that he's putting a focus on the basketball aspect of MLSE because people in his position in the past overdoted on the Leafs and maybe the Marlies more than the Raptors and the Raptors 905. But you can tell he's very much going to be involved in all of them and giving them equal attention in different ways. And I like that. The fact that he was at a 905 game last night doing what he was doing, it symbolizes that. Fiercely saying, okay, makes sense because I sense he has great synergy with the Raptors would be surprising. It could very well be before Garrett had longer tenure in the league as a veteran that he came across somebody that was younger. He was younger at the time, and cooler heads did not prevail, and fisticuffs happened. Who knows? I want to know more of the story. Mike, why do you give us this teaser? Give us the full story, Mike. If you know the whole story, tell us the whole damn thing, please. Seymour saying Temple locker fight was when he was in Memphis. So he was on the Grizzlies at the time. All right, we get another piece of the puzzle. Thank you, Sheriff. Kareem saying Coca-Cola Coliseum, laugh out loud. Last time I was there, I watched a lingerie football game. It was crazy. Wow. Kareem, you know what? This may be the weirdest way you've gotten a dunk so far. I'm going to give you a dunk for having gone to a lingerie football game. Is that what you said? Lingerie football game? Yeah. I actually knew one of the women that played in lingerie football when they had that league here in Canada, Martha Monoxide. Yeah. She used to be a bartender at the Velvet with us. And she was actually a pillow fighter and a lingerie football player. She's really hot. And she was all about these weird sports because she was very athletic also. So, yeah, very interesting. You're going to get a 5-pointer just for saying you went to a lingerie football game. I mean, that may be a little weird, but anyway, 483 for Kareem. Let's just add a weird dunk to him. Lingerie football dunk. There you go. It was crazy. That's awesome. Let's see. Mike saying, I think a player was disrespectful toward Temple or something. I don't know the details of why they fought. Okay. All right. We're getting another puzzle piece there. Nako saying, last time I was at Coca-Cola Coliseum, I saw a boy band, Brockhampton. I think the last time I was there, I saw Faith No More, honestly. And this had to have been like almost 8 years ago, guys. Something like that. I went and saw Faith No More, one of my favorite bands of all time. I finally got to see them in person at Rico Coliseum, which is what we're talking about. We're talking about Rico, right? Coca-Cola Coliseum became Rico Coliseum. And that's what we're talking about, right? Am I right or am I wrong? Is it a different facility? Am I wrong? I might be wrong. Maybe they're two different places. G saying, Ant said the Wolves are growing apart and everyone has their own agenda. I've changed my opinion on the Wolves, and they did not win that trade. Cat can be soft, but apparently he's great off the court. I don't know about that. Jimmy Butler's had problems. Now Anthony Edwards having problems. The problem is Gobert. Gobert's a goof, man. He's aloof, and in some ways, he's not serious as an NBA player. I think adding DiVincenzo and Randall wasn't a bad thing because they're very quality players. It's just that they don't fit completely with that group, and they're needing to figure it out. And maybe in some ways they're sad because they're not on New York anymore. They could very well be. There's a little bit of a hangover for the former Knicks on the Timberwolves right now and kind of lusting for wanting to be back where they just came from. And that may be part of it. They're holding on to their old past a little bit. I'm not going to give you that about Cat, though, what you're saying, G. I don't believe that. Mike's saying Garrett Temple, Omer Kasepi. It was Omer Kasepi involved in physical locker room altercation. The Memphis Grizzlies fell to 3-10 in their last 13 games. So these are bad vibes. Maybe that guy said something disrespectful, and Garrett stood on his ground and came at him. And knowing Garrett's character, that guy was in the wrong, the other guy. I'll just blindly take Garrett's side because we just know the top-notch kind of person that Garrett Temple is. So, yeah, I don't know what Omer Kasipi said in that moment. That's very interesting. Can you tell us, Mike? Give us more puzzle pieces. Tell us what he said. Tell us what he said. Continue your investigative reporting, Mike. Andrew's saying Randall is soft on and off the court. I don't think that's true. That seems weird. That's a weird comment. I don't know if Randall's soft. I don't know what that is. I think they miss Mike Conley, and I think Rudy Gobert is the problem. If I was going to keep one of those centers, I would have kept Cat, and I would have traded Gobert out of there. Gobert's a loser, man. Gobert is not trying, honestly. In some ways, he's such a loser, and he really brings bad kind of vibes. In some ways, him and Embiid are similar. They're big, tall, crazy tall players that can have an impact, but they're lazy. And in some ways, they're not serious about their lives. How about that? Seymour saying Randall for Cat was a fair trade, both soft as downy sheets. Okay, I don't want to disrespect Julius like that because I have a higher opinion of him than that, guys. Let's see. Fiercely saying she's laughing at Seymour, and G's laughing at Andrew and Seymour about it. Nako saying, I think the problem is Gobert. Boom goes the dynamite. See, Gerald's saying what I'm thinking. If I were the Knicks, I'd want Cat instead of Gobert. I think Randall should work in theory, but oh well, that's their problem. Yeah, exactly. Once again, New Orleans has problems. Okay. Minnesota has problems. Okay. Philadelphia has problems. Okay. Raptors got problems, but we're fixing them, and we got a bright future still. Where's my glasses? We got bright future. That's right. Mike's saying lockdown king Oshai, maybe a little bit. Kareem saying, is there anyone on the 905 that you like to eventually be on the Raptors over Shamshay? Don't, because I don't. Anyone. Shamshay is already on the Raptors. He's a two-way. So that's why I say Omaroy. Omaroy could help the Raptors this year faster than Shamshay. He's just more polished. So Omaroy has 70 games in the NBA on the Wizards. And he has a lot of potential as a very gritty a fighter and rebounder. And in some ways, there's some stuff that Omaroy does that I absolutely love. And I think that he has the best chance of getting the next two-way if we do convert Jamison Battle. I'll say that right now. Eugene, let's give it to Eugene, two-way him, and get him on the Raptors up top because he can very much help the Raptors on the main level. Watch. He really can. Let's see. G saying, goes to show you can have all the talent, but if the chemistry is bad, good luck with those guys. Yep. That's why I like the way the Raptors have done their business and rebuilding our team. Is they're really looking at all aspects. They're thinking about team fit as player build and what they do on the court with their skills, but they're also thinking about fit with personalities and who fits with the coach and who's going to get along and how this all fits together. In some ways, the ambiguous long arm monster, all wings, positionless basketball that we did with Bobby Webster for a while there made things too ambiguous. And now we have more well-defined roles and responsibilities with our Raptors personnel right now. And that's helping things with the rebuild also. In some ways, we were too kind of mystery, question mark, under Nick Nurse with so many wings and guys that kind of were playing the same position and no bigs and smalls. So now the Raptors roster is more reflective of the traditional positions of basketball. And we have more responsibilities defined. And people are fulfilling those responsibilities and getting the jobs done better, partly because of that. If you want to look at the difference between a Nick Nurse team 2 years ago and a team right now, that's it right there. That's a big part of it right there, other than being more offensively minded on this team and more defensively minded under Nick Nurse in some ways. Yeah, there you go. Mike is big up and G on that comment. He's exactly right. You can have all the talent in the world. They don't get along. It's a misery. Mike's saying, not going to lie, Boston has the right idea at the moment. Players took pay cuts to stay together. I think they are in a right mindset at the moment. Well, I ain't trying to talk them into a repeat. Fuck that shit. It's so hard to repeat. Boston will fail by the end of it. Even if the Cavs beat them and get to the finals, I'll be happy about that. I'm that kind of hater. And in some ways, I ain't wishing nothing nice for Boston. Come on now, Mike. Come on now. Carlos saying this guy Pelly seems to get it. All his interviews are on point. He was fantastic last night. And he was a mystery to me. And in some ways, we had mysteries revealed last night. The mystery of Jacoby Walters starting, and the mystery of who is our new CEO of MLSE, and what is he all about? What does he care about? What does Keith Pelly care about? Well, I found out last night. He cares about having access for all fans, regardless of financials. And that is a great thing to hear from a guy who's in charge of a CEO of a company, like a corporation, like a big company like MLSE. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. There's always someone observing your efforts in life and who draws courage from your positivity. So remain positive as you press forward. I love that. I love that. Yeah, you never know who may be watching, especially on the Raptor Freak channel. I don't know who could be watching me right now. Who's watching me right now? Leo, are you watching me? Let's see what Leo's saying this morning. He's got the dog out. It's cool to see the dog on the bed. Sorry, I'll keep it down. My bad. He woke the dog up. Let's see. Sometimes I need to remember just how lucky I really am. That's what I'm talking about. And somebody's playing the Pelicans last night made Raptors fans realize how lucky they am. Seriously, there you go. There's a life tip right there. Leo saying, yeah, we played the Pelicans and blew them out. They're really in a bad place. Wow, we're lucky as a franchise right now. We're not New Orleans. How about that? There you go. That's how it goes. All right. Thank you for the life tips, Leo and Randolph and Trevor, and blessings to the Phyllis family, all the Raptor Freak families out there. That's right. 100%. I love that. Seymour's dapping down on Randolph's words of wisdom. I love that. Seymour saying jerk turkey. Okay, Lex, I'm going to have to peep that. You know, maybe that's what they're doing today at the Barnes household. They got most of the roster there and the coaches and the staff. And Scotty's mom is cooking up some jerk turkey. And they are just getting it done right. I could just think about the side dishes. They're going to be at that place. I wish I had an invite and I was in Palm Beach today. Oh, my gosh. I can only imagine what's going on there. Scotty, I know you're that kind of guy. You love your teammates. I'm sure you're having your teammates over for Thanksgiving. I'm sure we may not see anything about this, but maybe we will. Maybe there will be an open gym moment. Thanksgiving with the Barnes family in Palm Beach. Yeah, maybe we will see this. Maybe we will. Mike's saying first round picks are a box of chocolates. You never know which one you'll get. Okay, Forrest Gump. And for doing that, you're getting a dunk. First round picks are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. All right, Logical Raptors fanatic. I'm giving you a 5-pointer for that. That's a 162 for you at this point, Mike. I love it. Forrest Gump. I could even see you saying it in a Forrest Gump way, Mike, in some ways. That's right. That's good stuff. Classic mode, classic movie, Forrest Gump. Yeah. Run, Forrest, run. Run, Forrest, run. Stop, Forrest. Stop. Stargate saying Davion likes Kayla. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. They seem like they have brother-sister energy. You know, Davion's very much showing his girlfriend off in his Instagram. Maybe he got some hell. Maybe some people were saying, why are you flirting with that announcer girl on the sideline reporter for the Raptors? He's like, oh, no. Look at my Instagram stories. This is my girlfriend. And I even said, happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for my girlfriend on the air. No, I get brother-sister vibes between the two of them. In fact, they look like they could be brother and sister. And, Kayla's like, oh, Davion, you're coming over here again. Kayla was like annoyed with him. You could tell she was annoyed with him. Seymour saying Jacoby Walters alley-oop layup. One has TikTok in a frenzy right now. Great play. Yeah, that was a weird layup. It was really slinky, and he just barely made it. And Scotty was really happy because he's getting an assist off of that play. And, yeah, he gets a 3-point play because he got fouled and he got conversion of making the ball fall through inexplicably, because in some ways it seemed like he was underneath the backboard and almost out of bounds when it kind of fell and went in. Oh man. Yeah. So TikTok's all about it. Okay. Monique saying W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Crew, strong forever. It's much easier to keep going after nights like last night. And I apologize for not being active in the chats last night. It really was double duty screen time of watching both games at once. It was very overwhelming at times. And I really did try and put in a good effort of keeping up with the 9:05 game after the Raptors game started. But it was a lot to take in, literally all at once. Wayne's saying Raptor Freaks, 20-plus victory is awesome. No matter who we play, more of the same to come. Boom goes the dynamite. I love that, Wayne. You're exactly right. I don't want to downplay their victory on the road finally last night. It came. It's the NBA. It's still a professional league, no matter who's playing. Mike's saying, Dave, laugh out loud, is David Sabourin on the team now? Is David Sabourin on the team now? I don't know. David's around. Trivia commissioner David Sabourin is still around, guys. In fact, y'all are reminding me of this. We got to take care of this soon. Mike's saying Zion is looking bad again. Not gonna lie, off-season habits are killing his career. Yep. Carlos saying, I heard Matt was saying the Pelicans can waive Zion at the end of this season without taking a cap hit on the rest of his contract. Wow, that will be sad. And that's likely what they'll do. I don't think he can even make up for it at this point. The writing may be on the wall with this, but the risk is that this dude gets motivated by this and all of a sudden becomes everything he's supposed to be on a bargain on another team. It's some weird shit where he like leaves the Pelicans, he gets waived by them, and he's on the Lakers next year. Yeah, some bullshit like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Mike's saying they had weight clauses in his contract. I think the clauses that he's not going to match are the amount of games he needed to play to be bona fide with his contract, that he's not coming through with enough physical games played for him in the jersey. And that's the problem. And it's not just for this year. It could very well be he can't make it up because he just has not played enough of games over his whole entire NBA career so far. So that's what they're saying it is right there. The weight stuff is probably in there too, though. Carlos saying, wow, and he signed that shit and still not make the weight cut. Wow. Some people just don't get it. In some ways, you can tell people, it's like, dude, what are you doing with your life? There may be people very close to him that are trying to tell him, like RJ, and he's just not getting it. And he has to do the work himself. This is very obvious. You got to do the work yourself. And if you don't, you're done. You're done. Blackhawks saying, I agree with Matt. Get a good draft pick at the end of the season and waive Zion. It's so crazy. What a waste. What a waste. In some ways, you look at all that and you're just like, holy crap, what a waste. Zion Williamson. You're wasting your career, man. In some ways, that is so, so sad. Carlos saying, Grady, Jacoby, and Battle. We got shooters, baby. That's right. And Key also coming up in the ranks. IQ can shoot also. That's right, Seymour. Carlos saying, yeah, almost forgot IQ there for a minute. Scotty, RJ, and Yak surrounded by shooters, going to be a winning formula. Yeah, we'll get whoever's hot, whoever's playing at a high level, whoever's putting the energy on the court, whoever's not hurt. They will get time with the Raptors. And if we're playing with the team concept and the unity that we're playing with, we're going to be successful. That's just how it is. That's right. Stargate saying, yes, Zion's contract is structured in a way where they have the option to waive him at the end of the season. I believe they will do it. Yeah, they're sick of waiting around for this guy wearing his Heathcliff Huxtable sweaters while he's sitting on the outside, not even playing. Mike saying, maybe Oshai is like a horse with a carrot on the string. He needs that carrot to continue growth. The carrot is a voiced need for him to be better, but he can see the way to grow, like seeing the carrot. That's weird, man, Mike. Oshai was getting a lot of praise, and he might have gotten comfortable and maybe started to coast a little bit. Some players need pressure to improve, but need a clear path or they turn off because they're not knowing how. Yeah, that's true, actually. In some ways, that may be one of the reasons why we started Jacoby last night, is we want to allow him to see that the path is there for him, even if his shoulder was separated and other guys are getting their chances and doing stuff. Well, here, look, you're going to get to start in this game. And that's important because you do want to keep these guys' morale high. You want to keep them confident and you want to keep them striving to achieve to get to that next place in their career. And that's important. You know, you went a really weird way of talking about carrots and stuff like that with Oshai. I don't know if it's exactly what you're saying. I think that he had a bad game on Monday, partly because Grady was out all of a sudden, and he's been really playing off of Grady a lot. And he had to readjust between the Detroit game and this game last night, and he did it very successfully. And it could very well be that the presence of Jacoby in this game was making up for Grady. In fact, Darko kind of alluded to this, that part of the decision to start Jacoby last night was that he sees that Jacoby can provide some of the things that Grady provides since he's out. So that's part of it right there. That's part of it right there. Stargate saying Pelicans will be fine. It's the injuries this season. Healthy, they are a playoff team. Need to waive Zion, though. It's too bad they can't move him and get something for him, because that may be the big travesty on this. Now, the NBA don't care about the Pelicans. They're not a marquee franchise. So them having some sort of waste like this is not going to be harmful or care. They're not going to care. They're not going to care. But yeah, this is a very interesting situation with Williamson. Wayne saying Oshai is an accomplished rookie from a first-class university organization or program. His issue is about adaptability to the NBA. He doesn't need nothing more than what a great organization and coach offers, period. Yeah, I think last year when we first saw Oshai, he wasn't able to play Kansas Jayhawk Oshai kind of basketball, which is attacking the rim, whether in transition or off the dribble in half court. And he's doing that way more. And you see just how badass he is when he goes to the basket. I have so much confidence in him, like RJ, that they're going to finish when they're going at the basket. They make that ball go in somehow, some way. And that's fantastic. And I think this is exactly right. Wayne saying that, you know, he's playing more like he's used to and his strengths from his collegiate career. and he's making it kind of translate finally to the NBA speed and size of the game. That's fantastic. In some ways, kudos to Darko and the coaches for cultivating a game system that's allowing Oshai to be his best strengths and come out in the way they are right now. Some coaches would be stubborn and be like, no, you need to do this, and we're going to mold you into the NBA player we want you to be. But no, Oshai has so much talent in the ways that I just described that it's a dumb thing to ignore them and try and force him to be a player that he shouldn't be. And they are not doing that to him. And that's really, really smart. Most saying limit comments for Lex. Seriously, I'm at 2.5. 2 games last night, double reaction, maybe a little bit of a Lexathon. 2 to 3 hours is okay. As long as I'm not going over 3 hours, that's good. Smith saying Zion Williams is a completely untradeable. He has very poor work habits. His penchant for sex workers makes him a very questionable human being as well. I want to give him a dunk just for this comment. We're giving weird dunks today. All right. Kareem went to lingerie football, and Smooth's just saying this is so funny. It's like church lady in some ways. Like his penchant for sex workers makes him very questionable human being as well. All right. I'm going to give you a dunk for this. This is a weird dunk, but I think you should get it just because it's funny. It's funny in some ways. I mean, it's his private life. He can do what he wants, and he got dragged all over the place that summer by that Mariah lady. And in some ways, that was really embarrassing. I'm going to give you a 10-pointer. You're at 82, Smooth Brown Man. I love it. Who could be that behind that, helping Zion with the sex workers and stuff like? Could it be Satan? Could it be Satan? Yeah, I don't know if y'all know that reference from Saturday Night Live. Could it be Satan? It's Dana Carvey's church lady. Mike saying built confidence, then challenge them to push higher. It's hard to motivate super rich people that don't need for anything. It takes certain players that are competitive and care about the game. That's one of the reasons why I love Scott. I mean, dude just signed like a $300 million contract. IQ, Grady, RJ, these guys are going to get big money. Are they going to change and dull their swords as far as their competitive sword of like wanting to compete? No, they want to still go do that. And that's part of like why our front office is good, is because they find the personality types are going to continue to want to work even though they got paid. And in some ways, I'm not worried about IQ. IQ's that kind of guy that's going to strive and be a pro, even though he got a huge bag this summer. And Scotty's the same thing. We see Scotty out there not shying away from contact and getting out there and getting hit in the face, even though he's a $500 million man in some ways right now. And that's not, you never know if these guys are going to be like this. You know, you could throw a bag at somebody and they're just like, yeah, I'm done. I made my bag. I'm good. I don't have to try any harder anymore. And some guys are special and they go even further, like Siakam, like VanVleet, like our guys on our team. And those are player types and personality types that Masai and Bobby are able to find. And I like that. I like that a lot, man. He takes nothing seriously at all. Zion Williamson, that's exactly right. And that's why we wouldn't probably drafted him or had him on our team, is because he's that type. When I say I have players that I don't want to ever see on the Raptors, like Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. Well, Kyrie Irving's changed. In some ways, I'd be open to Kyrie Irving being a Raptor at this point. In some ways, he's calmed down. And some of the knuckleheadedness that he was doing a few years ago, in some ways, I agree with at this point. But yeah, there's certain players I never want to show up. And Zion Williams is not somebody you can trust. And that's why you don't want him on your team. Stargate saying, wait till Jacoby gets in the gym and bulks up like Oshai. It's going to be a problem. It already looks like he's showing a lot of good definition on his biceps. He has a stronger arms than when we drafted him. You could see the clip of him getting drafted this summer, and he had skinny little arms. And when he first showed up for Summer League, he did not have muscles. He's worked really hard, even though he's been hurt, and getting his muscles up on his arms. And that's showing out there. In some ways, he needed to be stronger because he was too weak in some of the highlights from college at Baylor. There's not stuff that's going to translate unless he got stronger with his arms. And he's showing real work there. Definition. Yeah. Carlos saying, see that comparison between LeBron and Zion's bodies? It's crazy how you have a lottery pick in the NBA career and flubbing it by not doing the work is crazy. Yeah, it is what it is. Some people are just super talented and they have all the talent in the world, but they're not hard workers. And there's a lot more of these guys in the NBA than you think in some ways. Seriously. You know, that's why some of these guys that have left the league at a certain point, like Kobe said this after he left, these players aren't playing for the right reasons anymore. DeMar's been disgusted by it. He's been very open about it in podcasts saying, you know, there's a lot of guys in this league that are just showing up to get paychecks and they're not working. and they're not trying. And in some ways, I have no respect for that. And what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do with my career, I'm always trying, and I'm trying to get better. And I'm not just trying to take the checks and run with them. But he's saying there's a lot of people in the league that are doing this. And that in some ways, that's part of the reason why I have less respect for the younger generation players, because the higher percentage of these kind of players is there. There's more of these kind of players than there were ever in the history of the NBA. Most of these guys in the 80s and 90s, they may have been plumbers, but they busted their ass to get there, and they continue to work as pros. But there's so many guys that are coasting in on their talent, AAU reputations, and they're not fulfilling their promise fully because they won't put in the work at the high level. It's just how it is. In some ways, that's why it's hard to be a GM in the league, because you can see guys in the draft and be like, oh, this guy, he's so good. He's so talented. But then he doesn't fucking work when he shows up. He's a bust. That's how it happens right there. That's right there. That's right. Let's see. Wayne's saying the next championship run is about the quality of the bench scoring, whether it's threes or attacking the rim. It's about scoring points, period. Let us not hype or deflate. Allow them to develop. That's right. Let them be on their own time. It's just like a plant out in the yard. I could try and put fertilizers on it and help it. I could kill it by over nurturing it. In some ways, you got to just let it be and let it go and grow on its own pace and get to where it's supposed to go on itself. And that's a great analogy for our Raptors team right now. Yeah. Mike's saying Bleacher Report is like a Z grade reporting. Exactly. Z grade. Bleacher Report, you dummies, with your stupid Game of Zones, and you wouldn't write any more episodes when the Raptors won the championship because you didn't want a Game of Zones treatment. The Raptors winning the whole thing. You fucking pieces of shit, you Brooklyn Nets fans, you pieces of crap at Bleacher Report. That's why they hate us. It's because we said fuck Brooklyn, and they're Brooklyn fans at the Bleacher Report. That's what's going on there. Yeah. Stargate saying Bleacher Report is known for its xenophobic, non-American views towards not only the Raptors, but Canadian fans. Yeah, fuck them. They're not making content for Canadian fans or Toronto Raptors fans or Canada. So fuck them. Disregard them. And their ratings are stupid. C, you're going to give us a C? Well, that's not going to age well. Trust me. We'll come back and see you in 5 years when we see where our rookie class is at. And we'll see what you said about that. What you said about Siakam a long time ago, same thing. And OG Anunoby laughed at us for taking somebody like Jakob Poeltl. Yeah, keep laughing. And keep seeing our NBA players continue to get big contracts and be better and better as time goes on and not busting out. I would like to see the track record of Masai Ujiri over his whole entire time. How many players did he draft that didn't work out? And let's look at the percentages and take all the stats and look at all the teams and all the GMs. And I'll bet you Masai Ujiri is near the top of that list with one of the best percentages for hitting on draft picks. I'll say that right now because that's the damn truth. And then what is a GM's job? Exactly what I just said. And that's why they're one of the best front offices in the league. That's right. Right there. Mike's saying volume of threes is what a lot of teams are looking at the moment. Boston is top with threes, and that's why Wolves traded Cat. They wanted to increase their volume of threes and told Ant to shoot a lot of threes this year. Well, that's counterintuitive because Cat shoots threes as a center. If they want to shoot more threes, why wouldn't they keep Cat and trade Gobert? I don't know. Either way, I don't totally understand the logic there. Wayne's saying if we attack with threes, rebounds have to factor in players' minds to get misses. Chris Boucher and Oshai have to lock in. Otherwise, our misses mean opponents eating our lunch on breakaways. Can we rebound? Yes, we need to have more of a importance on rebounding and long rebounding if we're going to take more threes. The Raptors this year is one of the top offensive rebounding teams in the league right now. And I like that. That's good. If we take a lot of volume threes, we're going to miss them because we don't have the best shooting in the league. We're going to need offensive rebounders to be excelling like Chris Boucher and Jakob Poeltl and Jonathan Mobo and what they've been doing with their kind of board work on the offensive board. So, yeah, that's essential if we are planning on having an increase in three-point attempts in the near future. These guys have to concentrate on getting the boards for sure. Fiercey saying amazing stream and winning, fam. Yes, thank you, Fiercey. Amazing job, you guys, with your comments and coming in with great stuff for me to read and opine off of. You guys are fantastic. Raptor Freak channel is a two-way street, and y'all are a big, huge part of the content and deriving the ideas and the things we're talking about. Definitely, it's a two-way street. I work off of you guys completely. Mike is saying apparently Daryl Morey had nothing to do with basketball before making some basketball formulas. He was the Moneyball guy. Laugh out loud. Our Prez was a scout. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds about right. Carlos saying Nick Nurse ran a 7-man rotation last night. His favorites playing 40 minutes, not even 20 games in the season. Laugh out loud. That sounds like Nick Nurse. That definitely does. Mike saying Pencil has a new campaign. It's against Davion Mitchell. Yeah, and I'm sure that right now he's getting all the fodder that he needs from the way Davion's played in the last couple games. Either way, whatever. He has to have somebody on the outs that he has to attack all the time. Well, that's just part of his toxicness on his stupid ass, sad ass channel. And that's all I'll say about that. We don't need to talk about him any further. Wayne saying Davion is not good when playing grinding half court ball. Up tempo, he's great. I think this is exactly right. Wayne's exactly right. He is hurt in half court kind of games and not as good in half court. He's fantastic in an up tempo, fast break kind of game. His assists go up, and he actually converts his scoring better when it's not in half court set kind of stuff. So maybe he's a specialty bench player for the way the tempo of the game is. If the game needs to be more up tempo, put him out there and try and increase your fast break. But if it is grinding to a halt and it's more like Eastern Conference style, like it was against Detroit on Monday night, maybe he doesn't flourish in that ecosystem. And that is maybe the coach needs to recognize that and say, all right, maybe, because Shed may do better in half court in some ways than Davion. And that may be part of the choice between Shed or Mitchell and putting them in the game as well. Is this a more grinded out half court kind of style game? Maybe we need to play Shed heavier as the backup point guard. Oh, well, this game's more up tempo and running up and down. And we really value Davion's on ball doggedness and being annoying. Okay, well, we'll play him more in this game because this is more West Coast up and down the court, run up and down the court kind of game because he flourishes in that one. I think Wayne's exactly right on this. I'm going to give Wayne a dunk for being astute and calling it like it is. 140 to Wayne on that one. That's right. I got to remember to give more dunks. In some ways, we've been giving less dunks lately. Let's see. Nako's saying Nurse runs his best players overtime and Embiid is always injured. That's right. Mike's saying Garrett Temple fought a teammate in a team meeting in 2019 when he was on the Grizzlies. The other guy ain't in the league anymore. The Grizzlies were doing bad, and I think it was an Alex Len thing. Was Omer Kasipi. I think he's Turkish or Greek or something like that. Yeah, I want to say that. Smooth saying there's nothing like winning in New York. It's different, man. Okay. If you're on New York's team or winning against New York in New York, that's fun. I like that. Mike saying the Maxey calling out Embiid is the part that wasn't supposed to be leaked. Okay. Yeah, that may have been Joel himself. I mean, in some ways, I wouldn't trust Joel. He's been leaking stuff like his load management for this year, and he shouldn't have done that. And, well, who knows who leaked this out? And I know it wasn't Lowry. I know it wasn't Nurse or any of his staff. I'll bet you it was one of the players that was involved, and it could very well be that was Joel, or maybe it was Maxey himself. He's like, yeah, I fucking told Big Dummy that he needs to start being more professional. Who knows? But yeah, there was a problem there. Definitely. Carlos saying Cat and Gobert had a good connection that the Wolves front office overlooked, and they're now paying for it. That Twin Tower experiment, when it happened a couple years ago when they acquired Gobert from Utah, I was like, what is this? And I was like, man, they're really putting all their eggs in the basket. If this does not work out, well, this is kind of their future and they're in trouble. Well, they moved Cat, which is crazy because if you had asked me, Cat had been on that franchise for a long time. He was a lifer for the Timberwolves. And the fact that he was the one who left before Gobert is actually really shocking to me. I think that is the mistake the Timberwolves made, is that they should have valued their big man in Cat more than Gobert because he's a way better player, honestly. I don't care how good Gobert is on defense. He drags you down in other areas. I mean, shit, wasn't he the one who got in a fight with Kyle Anderson just a couple years ago? Like, he emanates a lot of the problems around this team. You can tell he's just like that. He's just a problem kind of player in certain ways. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Criscom's here. Good to see Criscom. Lost that game against the Pistons. I'll take that prediction on the chin. We should have won, but great dub last night. Yeah, we should have beat the Pistons on Monday, but in some ways we didn't do enough to add up to it. And partly I wanted Scott to carry us, and he just didn't show up in the second half to carry us. That's kind of my reaction from the other day. Mike saying the owner register is about to change. Rogers and MLSC will be our single NBA governor, and Masai will be the alternate NBA governor with a smaller share. A lot of the teams have that ownership structure. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how things change with our team, and this changes with Rogers being primary owner. Hopefully it'll be good. Keith Pelly, keep fighting for the Raptors and the Raptors 905. I believe in you, man. I like you, man. I'm going to talk you up because I heard your voice last night for the first time. UC saying Battle might be my new favorite undrafted rookie after the post-game interview. It was awesome to see how he handled himself. He's so grounded. He's so serene and just like he introspective and just really like gets it. In some ways, he really has the right idea. You know, those kind of shooters have to be like that. Jamison Battle, Grady Dick, short memory, not too up when the successes happen, not too down when the failures happen, very even keeled and forgetful of the last shot and just putting all the work, the fundamentals, the time, the reps, the how many shots you guys shot every single day for your whole entire life to get this point. That's a whole big part of it. One of the things that Mitchell said in the last week, people have been critical of him, is saying, look, I trust my path because I'm doing everything right, the right way as a professional. I'm putting in the work and I'm doing the stuff that I know with my discipline and doing this routinely will get me to the promised land of success. And that success is not linear. It is some ways, it has ups and downs. And if I keep going the way I'm going to get there no matter what, even with you naysayers and you idiots talking trash about me. And I like that attitude. And that's the right way to be as an NBA player. You're not going to win every single day. You're not going to have complete 100% success. And the failure is a part of the journey for learning also. That's what I say right there. Yeah. Stargate saying maybe Davion's girlfriend likes Kayla too. NBA life is weird. Just kidding. Lou will. I was about to say, if he doesn't put that in there, you better put in the 6-man there. Yeah, because that's that lifestyle Lou Will was rocking. And you know what? He actually said in the interview that he thinks that lifestyle was part of the reason why the Raptors did not want to bring him back after the 1 year he was on our team and he won 6-man of the year. I don't think that's true, Lou Williams. I mean, Toronto's a pretty open-minded, progressive, left-leaning city. And even our brass, I don't know if they're really like the puritanical, like maybe the Orlando Magic would be with their structure with the DeVos family. They're all fucked up. There's other teams that have way more kind of like judgmental ownership groups. And I don't think that you would have, that was the reason why. I don't totally understand why you weren't a Raptor again the next year, because it sounded like you wanted to be back for sure. But you think that it's partly because of Drake blowing you up with your lifestyle in that song. And some people morally looking at you because you had a girlfriend that had a girlfriend when you were on the Raptors. I don't know. That's what Lou Williams himself thinks, that we didn't ask him back as a free agent after his 1 year with us, partly because of his relationship. Plus. Yeah, there you go. Mike saying Zion's weight was how he accessed his bonuses that were a big chunk. That's how a structured contract where you take less risk. The games part is the reason they can waive the rest. That's right. That's what I was thinking. That's what they said last night. He played 70 games last year. And he really teased New Orleans what's possible. But once again, he wasn't healthy in the playoffs, and he wasn't able to play for them in the postseason when they needed him. So, yeah, you can't have a player like that on your team that you're depending on as such a cornerstone and such a huge chunk of your salary being so flaky and not available when you need him the most. It's a really, really big problem. Kaz is here. Good to see Trucker Kaz on the road because it's Thursday. Just joined in late. Morning, Lex and the crew. Good morning to you, Kaz. You still got me. It's just we are near the very end, though, and I will do the classic card very soon. Mike saying the Nets wanted Kyrie to take a contract based on games played, and the third and fourth year were dependent on the games played in the first and second seasons of the contract. That seems smart in some ways with some of those players that were getting a lot of DMPs. Kareem saying, I believe Vince Carter's mom held a Raptors Thanksgiving. I'm leaving work right now because there's football on at 12:30. Also, after my dinner date with the wife, we bought a turkey. So, yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Okay, so you guys are doing an American Thanksgiving in Canada. And happy 20th wedding anniversary once again, Kareem. Just so you know, I can remember Thanksgiving with Vince Carter's mom way back in the day. Yeah, when he was on the team and everything was in a nice, happier place before he left. And then I can remember a Philadelphia open gym Thanksgiving at Kyle Lowry's house, with an addition that had like Jonas and Terrence Ross and people like that at Kyle's house. DeMar all sitting in Kyle's house in Philadelphia doing Thanksgiving there. Sometimes it's where you are on the schedule. Well, they're at Scott's house. And if they're doing a team dinner at any player's house, it's Scotty's house. Maybe Jonathan's house, maybe Jonathan's mom. And she's like, yeah, it's like when you guys live with me, Scotty and Jonathan, just like old times. We'll do Thanksgiving here. Jonathan's mom, Scotty's mom, making the Thanksgiving feast for the Raptors organization today. I don't know if that's what's happening. It could be, and we may get an open gym episode because of it. We'll have to see. It may be all private too, though. Trevor's saying Anthony Edwards slams T-Wolves after loss. The Kings, our identity is soft as hell. You got no dogs on there, Patrick Beverly? Well, maybe you get to get Patrick Beverly to be a yip, yip, yap, yap dog back on your team again. Maybe you get it back right. They haven't won since we beat them. In some ways, that is what it is, Minnesota. I'm sorry. In some ways, we broke y'all, I guess. In some ways, that happens. Mike's saying, I've seen a video that tracked 2011 and 2021 draft picking and which players got All-Star, All-NBA, and Rookie of the Year and second contract signed with that team. And the Raps were in the top 3 for both lists. Miami was number 1. Yeah, I can see that because Miami's done so well with undrafted players. They get like these crazy players from nowhere that become something big like Jamison Battle. That's awesome, Mike. So you've seen a list like what I was describing earlier, and the Raptors were in the top 3, one of the best GM offices in the league for looking at that 10-year period from 2011 to 2021. Beautiful. I mean, I didn't know exactly, but you telling me that you've seen a list and we do rank up there, well, there you go. People that are denying and mad at our front office. This team is good and run well. And Jamison Battle is the results of that right there. That's right. Not going to say no classic card yet. No, it's right here. We'll do it very soon. I want to get all the way to the end, and then we'll do it, and then it'll be easy. Mike's saying we picked more guys than Miami did over that time too. Yeah, but the Miami get extra bonus points is because of the undrafted guys. They get gold in. They have so many guys that come to their team that weren't even drafted that can contribute to their team in the last 10 years. And that is a testament to their scouting outside of the draft. Amazing. Mo's got that hard cutoff right there. UC saying Embiid trolling that we won't play back-to-backs only to comment on it that he wants to play a back-to-back shows how unserious he is for the season. Yeah, well, he's missed so many games. Maybe he understands if he wants any postseason awards, he has to start playing back-to-backs to make up for it. Trevor's saying, y'all have a great day. I'm about to have fun right now. All right, yeah, he's got Thanksgiving. He's got to make a meal for his family. He's down in Fort Lauderdale in Florida, not far from Scott and them. And Trevor's got the whole family over, and he's going to do American Thanksgiving right. Y'all remember, in the United States, be grateful for what you have in your life and count your blessings. That's what Thanksgiving is about. It's about being family and being grateful for your life and counting your blessings. And that's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Stargate's saying, no, Lou Will is bugging. Nobody really cares about his personal lifestyle. It wasn't hidden. It was in the open. The Raptors didn't let him go for that. Yeah, I think he was crazy for saying that. I think he was just making an excuse. I think that there's a weird time in our team history that we're transitioning, and maybe the money was not allocated to having a six-man getting paid that much. In some ways, he did what he needed to do in Toronto. He got his six-man of the year award that he had been passed over for many, many years before that. Okay, this is a hard one. Let's see, and it is a classic one. Classic card of the day. Yeah, first person to write in the full name will get the points. This is a weird one, guys. I'm going to say that right now. I want to make sure I'm not showing any of the name at the bottom. Who is this, man? This is a weird one, guys. In some ways, I'll give you some clues after you give me some guesses. And, you know, we've got 9 minutes until 3 hours, so don't take too long on this. This is a hard one. I'm going to say right now, this is going to be at least a 200 classic card. Kareem and Smooth, you guys are at the top, being competitive. You may not want to wait. You may want to get in there on this and try and find it. W long stream. All right, Nins. Good to see you, Nins. W to you. And happy to see you. You know the classic card, Nins? Who is this player? It's a Bucks player, and it's an old Upper Deck card, so he's not a current player. You can see that Hawks jersey back there. Kind of gives it away a little bit. Hawks number 10. I want to say, who is that? Is that Doc Rivers behind him? I'm not sure. Blair Rasmussen. That's a very educated guess by Smooth Brown Man. That's pretty good. Nin saying, I definitely don't know. Mike is blanking. All right, we got one guess. I'll give one clue because of the guess. Larry Kostoyak is an excellent guess. That's a fantastic guess, Stargate, but that's not right. This player is a legacy player, meaning that they have a generation that besides them, either their father or their child, played in the NBA. So this is a legacy player. This is somebody who has another generation that played in the NBA also in their family. And that may be a good clue right there. I won't tell you if it's a son or a father for this player, and that'll make it kind of harder. Maybe I will if you guys struggle further. Larry Kostoyak is a fantastic guess. Is the right era of the Bucks, and he kind of looks like this player, but that's not him. I'm gonna bring it in real close. Look at that face. It's a weird face. In some ways, you can almost see his jersey name on the back of the jersey, but it's covered up by that Kevin Willis's arm. That's Kevin Willis. I can tell that's Kevin Willis. He's got the blocking him out. This mustache is Kevin Willis, former Raptor. All right, guys, legacy player. You know what I'll tell you? It's his dad who played in the NBA. This guy's dad played in the NBA, so it's not his son that played after him. So, yeah, there we go. Stargate's got it from that. It's Danny Shays. That's right. Danny Shays' father, Dolph Shays, played for the Syracuse team, like way, way back. I think it was the name of their Syracuse or something like that. And they won championships in the 50s. So, like, his dad was in the very beginning of the NBA, and he played in the NBA in the 80s and 90s. Danny Shays. Yeah, that's the right guess. And Stargate, you know what? That was a tough one. I'm going to give you extra points for this one because that's impressive. Stargate has not gotten a whole bunch of classic cards. We're going to put Stargate in for 300 on this one because that's definitely no Nikola Jokic or Chris Paul like we've gotten recently. Those are very easy. So Stargate is getting on the classic card today for 300 for Danny Shays. Yeah, Danny Shays. There you go. Here's a better picture of him from the front. Yeah, his dad played. There he is against Ewing, Patrick Ewing. Yeah, Danny Shays was not a great player in the league. He's a legacy player who played kind of because of his dad, Dolph. Dolph Shays was the guy before. Yeah, Knuckles saying John Stockton Jr. I don't know if that's a player. Yeah, that's a tough one. Definitely a very tough one, Danny Shays. All right, let's do the wrap up. I'm at 5 minutes to go till 3 hours, and I'll finish up right now. My stars of the game for the Raptors' victory against the Pelicans last night. Fantastic job, taking care of business. Don't play with your food. Beating them 119-93. It's fantastic. Ochai Agbaji, number 1 star. Jamison Battle, number 2. RJ Barrett with a double-double with 11 assists. Fantastic. Jacoby Walter with his starting debut. Fantastic. And Scotty Barnes bringing the energy and being a great leader on the court with a plus 33, even though he didn't shoot well from 3. Those are my 5 stars of the game. For the 905 and the losing effort against the Celtics, Maine Celtics, Kennedy Chandler, Quincy Guerriere, and Eugene Omarui were my 3 stars in that game. Let's see. Did I forget any of my tabs? Yeah, we saw Nick Nurse embracing Fred VanVleet, kind of, and Maxey busting it up. Happy birthday to the Brazilian blur, Leandro Barbosa. That's right. It's Barbosa's birthday today. Barbosa is 42 today. So happy 42nd birthday to the great Brazilian basketball NBA player, Leandro Barbosa. Barbosa. Yeah, we love Leandro. He was fun, man. When he played for the Raptors, he was very up-tempo and a lot of fun to watch from back then. Yeah, he was really, really fun. Yeah, Wayne's saying, give Darko a dunk for coaching team's first win. You know what? I'm going to do that. Wayne wants me to give a dunk. We'll get an alley-oop from Dunk to Darko Rajakovic, our coach, is getting on the dunk boards again. I'm going to give him a 10-pointer, getting his first road win of the year for the Raptors. Thank you, Coach Darko. So you're at 36 now, Darko Rajakovic. You got 36 dunks on the Raptor Freak channel, my guy. Let's see. Stargate saying, I know Danny from the Nuggets, just like Blair Rasmussen. They played with Alex English. That's right. Danny Shays was more on the Nuggets like in the 80s. And this is a little bit after that when he went to the Bucks. Not as known on the Bucks. So, yeah, you're bringing up Blair Rasmussen. Of course, people like Michael Adams and Wayne Cooper, Lafayette Lever, Joe Wolf around that time on the Denver Nuggets. That's right. I know my NBA classics. That's right. Darko Dunk. That's right, baby. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. React to 2 Raptors games. One was a victory. One was not. And it's too bad. I wanted a double-barrel victory for today, but 905 is just not serious. Like Monique said, they're not being serious enough down there. I know Andrew Jones is being serious. He's looking real stern and angry, and he's wanting them to play better. And he's hopefully going to get some results from them at some point. Hopefully, just clean it up, 905. Seriously, it's embarrassing. That's right. Heavy level. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll be back to preview the Miami Heat game against the Raptors in Miami, in-season tournament game post-Thanksgiving. I hope those Raptors have a fantastic Thanksgiving today, but eat light, y'all. In some ways, yeah, you can eat a certain amount, but don't eat so much that, tryptophan. You don't want to be lackadaisical or sleepy when we play the Miami Heat tomorrow, an in-season tournament game. Once again, that's an important game, and it's fishy as fuck to me that Thanksgiving has in-season tournament games after it. In some ways, that's kind of fishy to me, like putting the Pistons on an in-season tournament game before we play the Celtics the next night, or playing the Milwaukee Bucks on the last day game of a 6-game road trip out west. Yeah, these in-season tournament games were scheduled losses for us. And the one tomorrow may be a little difficult because of Thanksgiving. So we'll just have to stay present, eat your food, undo that belt or that button just to let it breathe a little bit. Maybe not go too crazy with stuffing yourselves. I don't want to see you guys show up tomorrow and you look like Pillsbury Doughboy or anything like that. Nothing like this. Don't be trying to be like Zion Williamson or Charles Barkley today. That's what I'm saying. WLEX, thank you, Kaz. I appreciate that, y'all. Get out there, touch grass, have a great day, and enjoy your Thanksgiving, Americans down south celebrating today. And we'll see y'all tomorrow previewing Miami, all the ref report, all the latest stuff about the lineup news, everything you need to know to get you ready for Raptors basketball on Friday night in Miami, South Beach. Let's go, Raptors. Good job getting your first road win. Raptors, I'm so proud of y'all.